All right, what's going on, y'all? This is MrLetGo, and I'm here with the illustrious Royce the 5'9". I'll let him introduce himself, but the main thing I want to let you guys know right now is that this is going to be a conversation that is going to ruffle a lot of feathers. There's a viral video that has been going crazy, I would say, for the last 2-3 weeks or whatever, on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok. And I've gotten so much flack about it where I wanted to talk about it more, because I never really did a show about the actual video that pissed everybody off. So with all that being said, as you guys come in, say what's up. Folks are in the chat already. But I want to first introduce Royce the 5'9". What's up, brother?
What's up, my guy? How you doing, man?
I'm good. So tell everybody who you are, what you do. I already know who you are, but some people don't know who you are, what you do, or whatever. I'm a big fan of yours.
I appreciate that. My name is Royce the 5'9". I'm a recording artist, producer, studio owner, record label owner. I'm a member of a few groups. One called Slaughterhouse with Joe Budden, Crooked Eye, Joel Ortiz. Another one called Prime with DJ Premier, and another one called Bad Meets Evil with Eminem.
That's what's up. Okay, so yesterday, just doing my thing on Instagram, right?
You got me in trouble yesterday.
Oh, I got you in trouble? We're going to talk about it. So somebody tags me, then another tag and another tag. And first, Willie D, from the Ghetto Boys, he posted the video, right, earlier that day. And next thing you know, Royce ends up posting it later on that day. But when Royce posted it, it was different. Folks was just going crazy. Maybe it's because of the different audience or something. I don't know. But next thing you know, I got people commenting, tagging or whatever. I'm in there arguing under your comments for a good 3 hours. Tip out 1 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, so your audience is a little bit different because those folks got triggered. Mm-hmm. So you said I got you in trouble. How did I get you in trouble?
Just with all of my female followers. And my wife a little bit.
Yeah.
She just I didn't get a chance to really talk to her yet about it. Mm-hmm. But I seen her in the comment section giving pushback. And I'm sure she's gonna have some pushback for me, but she's gonna want me to clarify exactly, what I meant by posting it.
Okay. Because there's one thing that stuck out that I want to ask you that meant something to me, really meant a lot to me. Mm-hmm. And before I say that, everybody make sure to hit the like button. And I just want to clarify the whole like button thing, because somebody was like, why we got to hit the like button? We just got on here. Don't we supposed to like it? No, like is something like giving your friend dap or giving your boyfriend a kiss or your girlfriend a hug or whatever. When you first see somebody, you greet them. Okay, so you guys can't give me a hug. You guys can't give me a dap or whatever because y'all are in Michigan or Tennessee or whatever. So your way of greeting me by coming into the chat or whatever, or just being on this platform as a community, is hitting the like button. So the like button is not you, whether you like the video or not. It's a cordial hello. And it's from a respect standpoint, okay? So everybody hit the like button. And no, do not wait until the end of the video and say, do I like this? No, it's saying hello, okay? So do that. Everybody hit the like button. We got 63 people right now. We need the like button hit so it can keep going. It helps the algorithm. So hit the like button, whether you like it or not, is a part of just being cordial with coming into somebody's community. And this is a community. So, Royce, you said thank you under the video. So, when I watched it, I was like, okay, I appreciate that. And I looked at the bottom it usually says, like repost or whatever, but you said thank you. And I'm like, that's interesting. So what did thank you mean when you said that? That was interesting.
Thank you for having the conversation. Thank you for having the conversation and using tough words for people to hear, for triggered people to hear. Like when you say failure, I mean, of course it should come with a whole lot of context. You know what I mean? But I didn't think you meant that she was a failure in life or in her career. You meant at her attempt at family, right?
Yeah.
Because I just, this whole narrative that a lot of young, especially Black women are running with, it's just that I don't need a man, independent this, independent that. And it's us too. Bitches ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like when we do come together, it's very difficult for us to figure out how to communicate with each other because we all need therapy. You know what I mean? So, and I think along those lines, once this continue, it progresses and progresses, and we lose sight of the importance of family. I mean, and I don't know how many Black women that I ran into that actually said it or realized that we need each other. You know what I mean? We're not in competition with one another. You know? And so I think if we start to look at it like that, if we start to look at it like it's an attempt at family, that's a failed attempt at family. Not anybody's fault, but we got to hit as many marks as we can. You know what I mean? Like we're much stronger together. That's the way I feel about it. So I think a lot of honesty and not coddling each other and just us willing to just tell the hard truths. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. See, women look at failure as, oh my God, you hate me. Like, no, failure is just failure. And I want to give you guys watching something to think about. Make sure to hit the like button. Football itself, right? When you look at a football game, do you get upset when your team like runs the ball on first down and they just don't get no yards, or they get like 3 yards? Do you fall on the floor like, oh my God, what is wrong with my no, because that's a part of football. But essentially, that running back who just ran the ball and just got tackled, he failed to get a touchdown. Football is literally a series of failures. You have 3 tries: first down, second down, third down. And even if on third down you fail to score a touchdown or you fail to get the first down, guess what? It's okay. You punt the ball away and you live to play, again. But now the defense has to get on the field. And if that defense fails to stop the offense from scoring the touchdown, well, guess what? It's still okay, because the offense comes in and now they have an opportunity to tie the game if they don't fail. So when you look at single motherhood, it's an attempt, just like Royce said, at family. And it doesn't mean your whole life is over.
I think that whole I don't need a man, like that whole narrative, I think it's a reaction to us failing to be there for them. Like I really do. I think it's like it's
and they take it personal,
cause and effect type of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
It's been so many years, like the just the family structure has been getting attacked so much, like the crack epidemic, like taking the father out of the family structure and turning, the kids into addicts, and Black women have just been having to bear the burden of so many things for so long. They just kind of normalized it, and now it's like a badge of honor. I'm a single mother. I still got my degree. I still got all of these things, and it got to a point where I think a lot of them kind of look at that as a way to measure their value, and they no longer rely on us at all because it's been so many years and generations that we haven't been. You know what I mean? So I just think it's a failure all around. You know what I mean?
So it's like they're trying to prove themselves that they can live without a man and in some type of way have some type of success and say, hey, I did it all on my own, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
like they're trying to prove that they can do it on their own for some reason.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. You know what I mean? Like I think what else would they think? What else would they think? Like,
right.
Look at how we play it. You know what I mean? Like, I use me for an example. Like, I come from Detroit. So I come from an environment where the measuring stick for cool is some souped up pseudo tough guy shit. You know what I mean? So I get into the record business at 20 years old. And now I'm trying to like find my place, not only find my place in the world, but find my place within the record industry. You know what I mean? I'm subscribing to all of the shit that's going on in the environment. I'm doing this.
I'm trying not to cuss, if you could.
Oh, okay, sorry. So I'm doing as the Romans do. You know, like I'm subscribing to everything in the environment.
Yeah.
So I took my first drink with Dr. Dre at 21, and I never before then it was like drinking what it wasn't my thing. It actually my thing not to drink. That was like something that I kind of like stood on. And I
remember you talk about that.
Yeah. So cheating on my wife, womanizing, doing all of that, it was just to fit in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like up until that point, I had her trust. Like we had each other's trust. I broke that trust. I failed her. You know what I mean? Yeah. Broke that trust, tore her down.
Yeah.
Every way that you can think of possible.
Yeah.
So if she had given up on me and just been like, nah, I mean, she seen something in me that I didn't see in myself. Turned to alcoholic. So about 8 years ago, I decided to get sober and I decided to start going to therapy. And then when I started going to therapy, that's when I started to realize that me cheating on her and everything that I was doing had nothing to do with her. It wasn't her fault. It was just I wasn't capable of loving myself. I had to learn how to love myself. Yeah. In order to really be there for her. And the more I got into therapy, I realized that why we don't know how to communicate with each other. We don't know how to communicate with each other. All of that has to be taught. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You gotta learn that. You know what I mean? So and it comes with accountability. It comes with accountability first. Not finger pointing, not because when you have those kind of conversations with our women, they so used to being judged, and we so used to being judged. Everything we do is under a microscope in America, especially us as artists. So it's really easy for us to jump to the defensive and start to talk from a triggered place and just to kind of, you know what I mean? And it's not going to be until we realize that we can't be each other's enemy, man. Like that's not even possible. That's not even a thing. Right. If the family structure wasn't important, then it wouldn't be attacked so heavily. You know what I mean? Like exactly makes us stronger, So I commend Black women that can do all of these different things and still be a single mother. I mean, they've been doing it forever. They're the greatest. You know what I mean? I commend it, but I don't encourage it. You know what I mean?
And that's the problem. They encourage it.
Yeah, I don't think that's I don't think I'm not with that. I'm not
and go back to the scenario of the football team, right? Does the quarterback turn around and blame the defense for being so good? You know, how we blame the white man or blame women or women blame men. Oh, these men are trash. Do they sit around and just blame the defense? Like, if it wasn't for the defense, I would have been able to score a touchdown. You know what I'm saying? No, they sit on the sideline and they focus on what they can do better. And they communicate with each other, like the offenses say, okay, we need to do this better. All right, you got to do it. And then the defense, if the defense get out there and they screw up, they don't blame the offense. They sit there and together and work on how they can be better. So when it comes to Black men and Black women, we got to sit back and just look at our lives, get therapy, and just sit down and talk with somebody that is impartial and objective and just say, okay, how did I get here? What have I done wrong? And how can I be better? Instead of blaming somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So real quick, Mr. Bobby Wright drops a super chat. I appreciate the super chat. You can tell who has a black father in their life based on their reactions to what you say. Can't have black anything without a healthy black family first and foremost. Marry before you carry. And that is a fact. And that is a fact. And that is the only thing that I focus on doing, you know? So overall, I am particularly here to help in the single mother epidemic, because regardless of what y'all think as ladies, it's an epidemic. We're around what, 70 some percent, you know, or maybe 80%, depending on what you look at and what year you look at, as far as like women running households. Black people are actually in some type of weird, ridiculous way under a matriarchy, and the rest of the world is under a patriarchy. So a lot of women, they grow up seeing this matriarchal household. You know, most black families are full of women. So they grow up seeing women running everything, women telling men what to do, women doing this, women doing that, you know, women encouraging each other, women doing dumb stuff and women ignoring the dumb stuff they doing, all that stuff, right? And then they grow up around 24 or whatever, and then they go out into the world and see that the world is totally different than their household. It's ran by men, and men are doing this and men are doing that. And now they're like, I'm so confused. And to me, in their way of just growing up, they're just like, something's wrong with this picture. Why are men doing this? Why are men doing that? Then they see people like me or, you know, whatever, and they're like, oh, these men hate women. These men are this. No, you just stepped off the porch and your entire upbringing to a certain degree was opposite of the rest of the world. And now you come out into the world with all those men and you weren't prepared for that, you know? So I think, Royce, a lot of women aren't or haven't been prepared to cohabitate and be led by men, because their upbringings and their family life since they were 5 and 7 or whatever has been nothing but women. So what are your thoughts on that?
I agree with that to an extent. I mean, it's first of all, I think it goes both ways. I think it makes me want to pivot back to what I was saying about getting into the music industry and realizing that the world isn't exactly how I've seen it through the microwave in my household.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Yeah, so I think that the things that we're taught, and a lot of times we learn them in the street. Mm-hmm. It's not anything that we can apply to the real world. So
right.
Not only are we qualified or in a position, or have we learned or been taught how to lead our women either. You know what I mean? So I think they're getting out into the world and they've been taught by maybe single mothers or just mothers who have had bad experiences with men to not depend on men. Get your own. And it's only natural and only right that would be their natural way of teaching their daughters, because the first thing they're thinking is they don't want them to go through the things that they went through.
Right.
That's any of our parents. All we ever got taught was all they knew. Mm-hmm. Whatever information that they had, that's all they had. Whatever money they had, whatever situation that we were in, they did the best that they could for what they had. So our jobs as forward thinkers is to try to break some of the cycles. You know what I mean? And I just think that this disconnect between the man and the woman is just a horrible, horrible cycle.
Yeah.
Black family, you know. Right. So imagine everybody holds their mother to such a high regard and high standard. So imagine a mother telling her daughter, get your own. Don't depend on a man, get your own. You never know. You know, we got brothers going to jail every other day. You know what I mean? Like, it's tough. Yeah. So now she's thinking that way. And she's college minded. She's, you know what I mean? Like, she may not know what she wants to do exactly for a career. And then she hits a certain age and bam, you know what? I think I want a family. And then that's when reality starts to kick in.
They get mad then. That's when the anger starts, because they're just like, yo, why can't I just get a family? What's wrong with these men?
It's easier said than done, man. That's one of those things that you're doing it and you're learning trial and error. You know, like attempts at family. It's not one of those things. You may not be blessed enough to get a whole lot of shots at that. You know what I mean? That's something that you could strike out at. That if you were armed with a little bit more of the information, you know, because there are women out here who have been groomed to be wives. You know,
I wish more women were groomed to be wives, man, because it would make it so much easier for the entire community to operate along with women, because there's this, like you say, because when you don't need, because to me, because I'm not a woman, just from all the things I've seen, I coach women. So I have a little bit of understanding of women, but none of us really totally understand women. But it's like, it's not just the fear of men, it's the fear and apprehension of women too. I don't think women trust other women. So they're actually raised not to trust anybody, especially men. A lot of women, they only have the same 2 friends or 3 friends that they went to school with, they went to college with, and you put them in a new environment without their little friends, they're like 12-year-olds going to a new school. Super socially awkward. And it's a psychological thing that I don't know why. Well, I know why. When you're a single mother, to a certain degree, her job is to protect her child from the world instead of prepare her child for the world. So she spends a huge amount of her life making sure her child doesn't do this, doesn't do that, doesn't go here, doesn't do that, don't talk to this person, don't talk to strangers, don't do this, don't. So now she grows up, she has a whole life of learning how not to do stuff. Don't get married, don't be with a woman, don't trust women.
Same here. Like I grew up my father was a stern disciplinarian, you know what I mean? Like he was very, very good at putting you in your place when you did something wrong.
Yeah.
As far as like just teaching me things and like utilizing the opportunity for a teachable moment. I don't remember many of those moments, but I remember getting punished for not knowing things. You know what I mean? So that was one of the things that stuck out to me in my mind when I became a father. When I became a father, I looked at the things because I think my dad was an excellent father, considering. And the older I get and look at it in retrospect, and the more I go through as a father, the more I understand him looking at it in retrospect. So I used to think that being a father meant that you just, you know, provide. My measuring stick for being a good father was always if I can financially provide.
How old are your kids?
23, 12, 23, 12, 7, and 5.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah. So when I started having girls, I realized that just being there financially wasn't enough.
Yeah, I got 2 girls myself.
When I started to really want to evolve as a person and become a better husband to my wife, I realized that being able to buy her a bunch of bags, not enough, you know.
Right.
So that's when I started to realize how the importance of communication. I think a man who knows, who's aware of the things that he doesn't know, I think that's much more productive than a man who is just brilliant. You know what I mean? I think you know everything. You know what I mean? You can think everything, but when you are aware of the things that you don't know and what can be improved upon, and you constantly evolving, I mean, I think that's the ideal place to be. You know? So I think we're just living in a society where everybody just knows everything. Everybody's an expert. Everybody claims to know everything.
Yeah.
There's no possible way as a Black man that you can just know things when it comes to relationships and shit like that. We come from the same situation. We haven't been armed with this information. And we just
even if you have it, there's a different way of doing stuff, you know, so you still don't know even when you know, because it might be 7 different ways to get to a certain different destination and you only know one way. You know, what if that street is blocked off? Now, without GPS, you're going to be late for wherever you're going because you got to figure out how else to get there. But if you were open to somebody else's perspective, and you'll see that, oh, okay, doing this is a faster way than the way I was doing, you know. Like I coach women, and I literally say on a normal basis, I know nothing. I'm just very good at articulating the things that I've learned in the books that we are going over, because we go over books and then we come to the class and I articulate what the person said in the book that will make it either more palatable or more understandable to the ladies. You know what I'm saying? So I know nothing because I love operating in this mindset of knowing nothing, because nobody can ever say I have this big ego, because the first thing I'm gonna say is, well, I don't know. Well, tell me, you know, like, so what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Because I don't want to know everything. That's a lonely life, being that person that knows everything.
Nobody
wants to be around you if you know everything.
But you know what I think is a forgotten kind of an art is talking to the elders.
Yes.
Talking to the elders and like taking in some of that wisdom, because they can only advise you based off of their experiences. You know? So ultimately it's just about you finding your own way. But that information is so useful. Yeah. Somewhere along the line that it became this big disconnect between the generations. And you know, we just look at it like, you know, we the youngins, we the new school, y'all don't know nothing. We doing we doing it the new way, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like when it comes to relationships and it comes to just evolving, everything starts with a foundation. You know what I mean? There's a fundamental way that never, ever, 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 ever the world is never going to deviate from. Like playing basketball, people are always going to dribble, always. I don't care how much it evolves. You can't do it without dribbling. You can't redefine it. You can't reimagine it, because the smarter we get, the more we start thinking past the point of logic, and we start to want to mess with things that don't need to be fixed. Like we want to imagine, we want to redefine, we want to do all of these things. Oh no, I don't want to. I'm against gender roles. You know what I mean? Like we gonna. This is the new kind of relationship and all of that kind of stuff. And just the way that that I see women kind of looking down on the role of the woman in the house, taking care of the kids, holding down the family without us having to send the kids to daycare. That's what my wife is, a stay-at-home mom. That's the most important thing that she could be in my life. Like there's nothing else that she can go out into the world and bring to me more valuable than giving me my children, continuing on our legacy, and my children being under her care all day. That brings me peace of mind because I trust her with my life. So I need that peace of mind in order to be productive.
100%.
With the kind of work that I do, I can't be distracted. You know what I mean? So I look at her to bring me my peace, so to speak. And when her doing that is her helping me help us, the family. You know? And I think when everybody's clear on what everybody's role is, I think everything moves efficiently, and we are intentional about communicating about things. We both realize, because we've been through so much. I put her through so much that every successful relationship it takes a lot of work, man. It's like the work never stops. It's hard. It's tough. So if you talk to the elders, and it's this couple that's sitting in the wicker chairs on the porch, and they've been together 50, 60 years. Yo, they've been through everything you can think of. You know, couples are getting divorced over nothing these days. You know, like, so I kind of defended Kanye a little bit on my on my IG. I kind of defended him just a little bit. The point that I was trying to make was every relationship takes this kind of effort. It just takes it from both sides.
Because I think people on both sides find that they start slowing down, they start getting spoiled, they start taking things for granted. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes the woman gotta kind of like put her proverbial foot down, or the man has to put his proverbial foot down, or whatever, and it disrupts the cycle of the mundaneness of the relationship or the marriage. When one person says, I don't want to do this no more, or we're going to do this, or we're going to do that. And then it turns into a problem at some point. But like you said, that could actually cause the relationship to actually have more meaning depending on how two people operate within the storm of the relationship.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. One good thing about my parents, they had the most tumultuous relationship that you could think of.
Oh, really?
Growing up. So I honestly think that they kept it together. They're still married to this day. I honestly think the biggest reason that they kept it together was for the sake of us, my siblings. And my wife comes from a Jehovah's Witness family. They don't believe in divorce. So her mom and dad stayed together, even though that they had some problems as well. So we just never seen divorce up close and personal. So all of the things that we've been together since high school. So all of the things that we've been through, we just never even put divorce on the table as an option. It's we never considered it. We dealt with everything, even when we couldn't deal with it. You know what I mean? Like we fought through it. It was times where we thought we hated each other. It was times where I thought I didn't love her anymore. I swore I wanted to leave so she can just leave me alone so I can just go drink. Her thing was like, I'm not about to, I'm not letting you, that's letting you off the hook so you can go be self-loathing every single day and kill yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was just like, I'm so happy that she was strong enough to deal with that, because I mean, if she would have just left me to my devices, I'd have killed myself. You know
but
what I mean?
What would you say to the women who have dealt with those things and it made sense for them to leave? And everybody, make sure to hit the like button. The likes are down, so make sure everybody hits the like button. Hit the like button. Facebook, y'all ain't hit the like button. Hit the like button, y'all. Because with me, I was married and I left my marriage, right? And I shouldn't have, but I did. And if I was to get remarried, I would potentially leave it again if things get worse, because things weren't terrible in my marriage, right? But I can, because my thing is, I can't see myself allowing another person to emotionally just kill me. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have a life like that. I've been single for a long time and I have been very happy. And I know how happiness can be in a marriage, and I know how misery can be in a marriage. But even though I loved my ex-wife, kids, all that stuff, it was a point in my marriage where I felt what misery actually looked like. And since my marriage, I have not felt misery again. So to a certain degree, it's not about running from misery. You don't have to be miserable, but I want to make sure I put myself in the best position possible where there's a possibility that I never have to feel or witness or go through misery again, you know? So can you explain or articulate how y'all's misery went and where it made it, where y'all just made it work? Even though y'all have this rule, like, we're not going to get married, but how long did the misery go until it turned until it changed out of that?
I think that's one of those double-edged swords. Like, I'm gonna have my version of the story, and she would have her version of the story.
Yeah,
she obviously went through a lot more than I did, but in the same token, I spent so much time in a relationship kind of like focusing on the things that she needed in order to be happy that I never really thought about what I needed.
You want it, right?
That's largely due to her developing and maturing a lot faster than me. You know, I didn't start thinking about these things until I got into my older age. So I think when it comes to like the whole misery thing and the unhappiness in a relationship, I think it's just unique to each situation. You know what I mean? She would have been well within her right to leave me plenty of times. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm sure she probably could have found happiness elsewhere.
Yeah.
It just wasn't in the cards for us. You know, like it's nothing that I wouldn't tell my sister, you know, stay.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I would be, as a brother, I would be biased. I would never advise my sister to go through what I put my wife through. You know
right.
What I mean?
Because there's women who are afraid to go through what you put your wife through, and they just like, yo, I don't want to go through that. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's why it's important.
It doesn't have to be part of a relationship.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be part of a relationship. And I think it was a lot worse in our situation because I got in the record business that exacerbated things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
We went from no money to, you know, more money than what we knew what to do with. You know what I mean? So all of these things played a part. I'm learning very, very valuable lessons. Judge a character, all of these things I'm learning in real time, and I'm learning them through trial and error. So, you know, a lot of friends came and went. It's a lot of BS. You know what I'm saying? So I think if it wasn't for therapy, now I'm trying not to speak for my wife, but if I'm remembering some of the things that she said, therapy is what helped her the most.
Okay.
Because, like, not only was I not present, but I was just reckless when I got drunk. I mean, I didn't like put my hands on her or anything like that, but I would just, you know, drinking just made me not really care.
Right. Right.
I could just do grimy shit and just be like, whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
were you running from something like with the drinking?
Oh yeah. It was just, you know, like my relationship with my dad, you know what I mean? Things that I seen growing up that traumatized me. And also just the way that things were in the environment. You know, young Black boys get told not to cry, toughen up. You know?
Right. So
I just grew up suppressing any feelings. Like I never dealt with an emotion, not a single emotion growing up. And I remember going to my granny's funeral and sitting there and looking at everybody crying and me thinking to myself, like, damn, I can't cry.
Right. You can't cry even when you're supposed to cry.
I was like, yo, I know I look crazy right now. Damn, why can't I cry? I'm trying to cry. I'm trying to find it and I can't find it.
Yeah.
I know I'm sad. I know I'm heartbroken because I love my granny, but I just couldn't cry. You know what I mean? So I think it's just from all the years of just suppressing it, not realizing how mentally and spiritually unhealthy that is.
Yeah.
Not to kind of step to your emotions and deal with your feelings and actually be able to articulate and unpack how you feel about things. You know, like I come from an environment where, you know, my father beat my mom up in front of me, you know, at 11 p.m. And then at 11 a.m. the next morning, everybody's sitting at the table eating cereal like nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
Never to be spoken about again.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, then we go to family reunions and shit. My dad is like, you know, a perfect gentleman, charming, all of the elders.
Yeah.
Like, he's so sweet. He's so myself, they don't know he's a fucking maniac.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like it was that kind of thing. So I think you start to normalize things that aren't normal at all. You know what I mean? Like seeing violent things take place in the hood, on a basketball court, you know, looking up to drug dealers as like the measuring stick to success. and people being popular because they known for being tough.
For being dumb, tough,
Yeah,
so,
for being dumb.
you know, all the stupidest stuff you do, the more attention you get. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I used to not want to raise my hand in class. You know, like I didn't want to.
Right.
I would know the answer to stuff. I wouldn't answer it because I don't want to be that kid. You know what I mean?
You don't want to be that kid. Let me tell you something. One time I was in middle school. I'm from Philly, and we moved to Atlanta, right? So I'm still trying to learn how to be dumb, right? Because you be smart. I was used to being smart, raise my hand and stuff, right? And it was the point we was on a basketball court, right? And some dude that I didn't know at the time was like, "Hey, I heard that everybody was in the classroom acting up and talking and stuff, and you was just doing your work." And he's looking at me like he wanted to fight me because I was doing my work. And I was like, "No, I don't know what you're talking about." So that wasn't you? No. Oh, okay. And we just I played basketball with him, but I was just so confused. Like, one, who told him that? And two, why does he care? And three, why did he look like he wanted to fight me because I didn't act stupid with everybody else? But that's the mentality. Everybody wants you to be the same. And the same thing with women when they grow up in these all women households and they have all these womanly goofy rules on how to be a woman, don't trust no man and all this other stuff. Then you go out into the world and you realize it's totally different. And just like you said earlier, as men, we got the same problem. We grow up thinking we got to be tough and loud and sell drugs and all this stuff, go to jail. Because I don't know about you, the dude who went to jail was kind of like cooler than the rest of the folks. So, you know, and next thing you know, you grow up and you're like, yo, all of the stuff that I learned as a kid was counterproductive to everything that I have to do as an adult.
If you come to that realization, now to see, that's the scary part, because you go on Clubhouse right now, and I guarantee you, at least one of those rooms, it's about 50 grown men in there talking for hours, passionately about things that don't matter at all on any level. Who's snitching, paperwork on people, how much time they did. Everybody saying what their inmate number is. You not gonna pull up, you not gonna do this, or you ain't really connected in the street, or you don't check in the hood, you don't go back to the hood. You do this, you don't do that. Oh yeah, you got your chain snatched. Oh man, I heard you got robbed. Oh man, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. For hours, and a lot of hours.
And they're like almost 50. I ain't gonna say the person's name, but I know you're talking about. But yeah, and it's more people.
It's a bunch of them.
It's But it's like
grown men with flags hanging out of their pockets. You know, calling themselves OGs. You know, they don't have nothing to show for the influence and the respect that they have. It's sad, man. Like we gotta evolve. We gotta evolve. Like it's okay. It's okay to be a product of your environment. You know, like I don't judge people for making the best of the environment that they were in, but there has to at some point be some redeeming something. You know what I mean? Like, like it's totally okay that Jay-Z was a drug dealer because he elevated from it. He turned it into a positives. Everything about him is redeeming. So it ends up being a fantastic story. But if you know you're a drug dealer and then the story ends with you going to prison for the rest of your life, then that's not cool, man.
It's not. We
can't glorify that, man. That's not cool. That's not a cool thing.
Yeah. All right, Duty Honor Caffeine. Thank you for the super chat. He says, I haven't considered happiness once in my family. I have a duty and responsibility to be of service to my family, no matter how I feel about it. I don't do divorce either. And then Shannon, thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate you. So what do you think about what he's saying right here? Because this has a lot to do with what we're talking about. He hasn't considered happiness. Have you not considered happiness in your life? Is this a thing, not considering happiness as a man?
Well, I don't agree with that, but I also know that you can't type expression, so maybe the brother is saying that he doesn't always make it about him.
Okay.
You can't be happy all the time.
Right.
Life is about the yin and the yang. You can't have happiness without, if you're telling the universe that you want to be happy, then you're automatically implying that you're willing to be unhappy sometimes.
Yes, I call that to want is to suffer. In order to get to the other side of the thing, wherever it is, you on one side, you have to suffer through what's between you and the thing.
It takes sacrifice. It takes sacrifice.
Yes.
And another thing that I think the brother is alluding to is our decisions don't just affect us now. We got to consider the children when we're making our decisions. So that might require. I'll tell you another story about my dad. We had one really, really crazy Christmas. We got all the He-Mans. We got Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain.
Yeah.
I don't know what my dad did this year.
Did you the Panther?
Huh?
You got the Panther too?
Yeah. So I mean, besides that Christmas, every Christmas was really light. You know what I mean? And my dad had a lot of brothers, a lot of wild brothers, and he had a lot of friends that were like in the streets, but he never, that I know about, he never like lost his composure and went to do things in the streets to put his freedom in jeopardy. Because if he had done that, he would have took himself out of the household and we would have been in a worse situation. So, he was a postal worker. And we come home from school sometimes, the lights are off or the gas is off.
Yeah.
This used to be like, don't worry about it. Put the oven door down. Well, it'll be back on tomorrow, or I'll fix it soon.
Right.
But we struggled through those times, and he never panicked. And like just looking at it in retrospect, man, I really admire him for that.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, for not folding. You know what I mean? Because I think if it was just him being single and under the pressures of just street stuff, and it was just him and my mom, no kids.
Yeah,
he probably would have took a pack from somebody, or he probably would have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's important. When men make their decisions, and they were young parents too, 20 years old. So when men make their decisions, I think we always got to consider. We got to consider the children too.
I remember when I stopped doing illegal stuff, right? And I got my homeboy. I got a house. My homeboy got a house. My other homeboy got a house, right? And I'm like, I'm not doing nothing illegal no more, right? They still going to the club with the colorful Versace shirts and, you know what I'm saying, the sweaters and all this and that, wearing gaiters, paying $700 for some gaiters. I mean, we like 19, 18, you know what I'm saying?
In Philly?
No, I'm in Atlanta. I'm from Philly, but I moved to Atlanta as a kid.
Okay.
And it was just what we did, but I stopped doing any of that stuff. So when the whole Versace stuff and the gators and all that, I wasn't able to keep up, right? And my own homeboys used to laugh at me because I would wear the same outfit because I had a couple dope outfits. But when you go to the club, everybody's seeing you in that outfit. You can't wear that outfit again for another 2 months, right? So I when I stopped doing illegal stuff, I started getting a job. I got 2 jobs. And I got a family now, right? So it's no longer a priority. And they used to laugh at me. They used to just make little jokes like, well, you know what I'm saying? Let me know if you need me to help y'all pay bills over there. And I'd be like, yo, man, like, and I actually had to pull away from them because the temptation to do more stuff to kind of like keep up with them was starting to take over me, right? But so there was a certain amount of suffering I had to do. I felt the need to not hang around my friends anymore. So now it's just me and, you know, my wife and kids, right? And I miss my friends. You know, they'll still call me, yo, where you at? Oh man, he on lockdown. So they'll call me like, yo, ask Blank, you know, her name. Ask Blank if you go outside. Man, come on, man. And I just dealt with all that pressure, and they just riding around and having fun and drinking and doing this, doing that. And I just got to the point where I'm like, you know what? That's no longer my life. And I'm happy. So my answer to what the brother said about having happiness, at some point in your life, you have to redefine what happiness actually looks like to you, right? To me, my kids were happiness. My growth as a father, as a man, as a husband was my happiness, right? Being able to just have I'm still a kid, and I got my family in this big ass house. You know what I'm saying? That made me happy. Coming home, living in the suburbs. That I grew up in a hood, right? Taking my leaving and living in the suburbs, like we like 15 minutes away from the freeway. You know, after we don't drove 20 miles outside of the city. You know, you get out the freeway, you still got to drive 15 more minutes, you know, to get to your street. And I lived like that as a kid, right? So I was, you know, I can't speak for anybody else, but that made me proud of myself. So even though I kind of like lost my friends, I couldn't hang out with them. One friend ended up going to prison, you know, and he goes to prison. The other friend, he went to jail, but he didn't go to prison. And then he had to drop out of college because now he has a record. So now he has to be out in the streets. But without the dude who went to jail, who was a head guy, he couldn't run everything, right? So he ended up falling off and just getting a job. And since he started so late and did it unintentionally, he couldn't keep up with himself. I made it a plan to get a job and get a second job, because I was working 2 jobs to take care of everything, you know, but I made a decision. So to anybody watching, it's important for you to make a decision to be happy. And being happy, like you said, is going to take a certain amount of suffering. So I worked 2 jobs in order to be happy. You know what I'm saying? So I was happy. I am happy. I have, you know, of course, happiness never stays, but I have always been happy throughout my life. And that's one beautiful thing that I can, I got to give that to my mom. My mom taught me how to be happy. It was one time, because it was one point, we were literally homeless. Me and my mom was walking around the streets homeless, right? And we had to live in a motel. And I mean, it was the worst motel in the entire city of Atlanta. It's called the Alamo Motel. And it was crackheads, prostitutes, and drug dealers everywhere, right? And we witnessed somebody get whacked, getting off the bus. You know, it was so much stuff going on. And once my mom was able to get us stable, I did not have the right to be mad no more. Because as a boy, I'm getting into fights. My life is this. We on welfare. Like, we ain't got no car. You know, I can't buy no Jordans. You know, I'm mad about this. I'm mad about that. And my mom would look at me and say, boy, do you realize we used to be homeless? You don't have the right to be mad. Nothing is perfect, but we ain't homeless. Now, when we was homeless, you had the right to be mad. You ain't homeless no more. You safe. So I need you to just redo your thoughts, because she didn't say do this, do it. She just said redo your thoughts and change the way you see your situation, because we used to be homeless. You want to be homeless again? I'm like, no, ma'am. She was like, all right, then.
I think society kind of programs us to look at all of the things that we don't have.
Yes.
Like all you have to do is watch TV, and it's like all of these things are literally being marketed to you, you know, and it makes you think that success is some far off enchanted land on the inside of your TV. You know, like unless you're in there, then you know, then you can't be happy.
Yeah.
Growing up as a kid, you know, and going to school and seeing, you know, maybe other kids that may have a little bit more than you, or you know, if you grew up without a dad and you on a basketball team and you see other kids, dads in the stands or being just real active with the team, maybe somebody on the team, the coach is their dad, you know what I mean? And you're thinking to yourself like, man, I wish I had that.
Yeah.
It's real easy to kind of take for granted the things that you do have.
And shout out to you for having a dad, man, because just having a dad would be awesome.
Trust me, a lot of my friends growing up used to be like, man, you got a dad, man. I used to be like, man, that shit's overrated. Trust me.
My dad is trash. And y'all sit up talking about having a dad. I wish I didn't have a dad, right?
Man, everybody in the neighborhood was scared of my dad. Everybody was scared of my dad.
Yeah.
We had the landline back then. So people called the house. And Roy's not here. Hanging up on people. You know what I mean? Like I used to be like, because all my friends that didn't have dads and their moms were working, single moms working like hectic hours.
Yeah.
They could get suspended. Their mom wouldn't know. They could skip school. Yeah. They used to get away with stuff. I used to be like, dang, I couldn't squeeze nothing past my dad. He knew everything, man.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't miss nothing. My mom, they were like a 1-2 punch, bro.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm so glad that I had that. But back then, in those moments, I just took it for granted. I think it's just a natural thing to do for kids.
I'm sure that has potentially made you one of the most articulate people in the game, simply because of the structure you grew up under. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
That's only my interpretation of who I see as Royce the 5'9". You know what I'm saying? So you seem like a very structured person in everything you do. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of that comes from men. And that's the main reason why I do what I do, because a lot of women just don't know or understand the importance of a dad, of a man, of a leader, of a husband. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, I've seen plenty of times women do a great job of raising men, you know, but I think nothing compares to a man teaching a boy how to be a man.
Facts.
A man with some sense, though.
Mm-hmm.
With some sense.
Yeah.
You know, I've also seen like some of my aunties, you know, like there's a new man in the house now. My cousin got a stepdad just because they feel like they need a man. Mm-hmm. They need a man. They're codependent on a man. And you know, these guys come in here and they the worst kind of people you can think of.
Right.
So that's a double-edged sword as well. But when you have something, you have true love, which it shouldn't be so few and far between. It should be something that's normalized in our society. You know, it should be easier. It should be an easier thing to find.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when you have that, you have love in the house and you have structure, like you said, and you have men that have it together, men who are taught how to be men, by real men.
Right.
And that's the cycle.
Yeah.
Constantly going. Now you got kids that are indoctrinated with real man things, like taking over the family business and keeping the queen on a pedestal, respect, honor thy mother, hold doors, be polite, be respectful, don't learn respect in the streets. You almost guaranteed to die if you got to learn respect in the streets. It has to be learned in a household.
Yeah. So, and a lot of us learn how to be men in the freaking streets, you know? And I'm lucky because I actually just got this realization just from people talk about my mannerisms. They'll be like, "What did you used to be in the military?" I'm like, "No." Well, where did you get it from? And I learned I ain't been around my dad on a normal basis since I was like 4, right? But a lot of the things that my dad taught me between 1 and 4 changed my entire life. My dad was a loser, but he had a military way of operating. You know, he used to make us run to the Liberty Bell, and I'm a kid. He used to tell me, stick your chest out, don't like, you know, don't breathe out your mouth, breathe out your nose, just all these different things, how to stand, how to walk, how to just hold my head, you know, always walk with your head up, you know what I'm saying? And it was so many different things that my dad taught me to do. And then when we left Philly, my dad just wasn't around anymore. But to this day, I learned a lot from my dad, even though he wasn't really around. So I got to give him credit for that. Even though he wasn't around, he was around enough, because for anybody watching, a child learns the majority of what they need to learn from their parent between the age of 1 or between the age of 0 and 7. And, you know, after that, we get to a second stage of learning after the age of 7. So my dad instilled a lot of beliefs, a lot of mannerisms, a lot of confidence in me. And I was gone and not really around him again. And we left when I was 4, maybe 5. But that's how important it is to raise a child in a household with a man, you know, because it's just small idiosyncrasies that a child, a little boy or a little girl, is going to just see and feel from their daddy versus just the feminine energy of a mom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a lot of times, what I noticed, I had a lot of close friends growing up who you know, it was just them. One of my friends in particular, it was just him and his mom, like the whole time. Real tight relationship, you know what I mean? She's real strong woman. I think he stumbled across some moments when he became a teenager, somewhere around 16, 17, where he didn't feel comfortable talking to his mom about certain things, where it involved him showing any kind of vulnerability.
Right.
And I think that came from him feeling like he needed to wear the pants, and him feeling like he needed to step up and be the protector in the house. He needed to step up.
How old was he at the time?
16, 17. 16, 17 is when I think if he had a dad, that's probably the only person that he would have been able to talk to who could relate to him.
Who could relate? Because our moms can't relate with us.
Well, not only that, but we don't tell them anyway, because we don't feel comfortable being that kind of vulnerable with them when we've already in our minds taken on the position of the protector. Of course, we can talk to them and they'll probably understand, but we don't think that way.
Yeah,
at times, especially at those ages. So
we actually grow up thinking that our mom don't know what they're talking about. To be honest with you, ladies, we as males don't really look at our mothers as people who actually know what the hell they're talking about. So I just wanted to put out, and that's the real thing. I literally did not think my mom had any idea what the hell she was talking about. So grammar, intuitive stuff, you know what I'm saying? But when it comes to anything else other than school, no, I don't, but it's some things I probably could have learned from her, but I didn't think my mom knew what she was talking about. So I didn't go to her about certain things.
You know, we learn from our moms, even when we don't think we learn.
Yes, that's a fact. Yeah,
they're the greatest adjusters. You know what I mean? They're literally human adapters. You know what I mean? They find a way. They find a way in any situation. You know, so when it's like the Dear Mama song by Tupac. You know what I mean? Like, it's basically just a song about all of the compromised positions that they've been in together.
Yeah.
As a family, and she always figured it out. She made miracles every Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Eating food on Thanksgiving is a miracle that she had to make. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not so sure if a single dad could do that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it's a miracle, You know what I mean? Because it'll kind of be like, eat a bologna sandwich.
Yeah, you'd bologna say I would literally be eating bologna sandwiches if it
only
was
your mother who would be like, they gotta have turkey. This is Thanksgiving. They need to eat. They do, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's a fact. That's a fact. So duty, honor, caffeine. Thank you for the $9.99 super chat. This is dope. Dope. Both disagreed initially, but you both described being of service and responsible for your family made you happy and have admiration for your father. The service is what I focus on. Yeah, we just kind of like, well, I kind of like misinterpreted what you said. So just us talking about it, you know, made a lot of sense, because being at service, being of service actually is a part of what makes me happy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I totally agree. And Draga001 says, shout out to Nickel 9.
What's up? What's up? And I also think that every man should get to a point in life where we start to identify with the essentials, the things that we need in order to be fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
So if the brother got to a point where fulfillment comes in just being a provider and being of service to his family, if that's what makes him feel whole, then that's what he should do with the most intent behind it possible. You know what I mean? And it's always unique to the individual. You know what I mean? Like if that's what the thing that he needs to focus on, and that's what makes him happy, then by all means, because you know everybody's situation is a little bit different. You know,
yeah,
our situation may have some similarities, but everybody's situation is unique to them. That's why I can't really judge a situation. I don't try to wrap my brain around situations that weren't meant for me to understand. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
About happiness. That's why I'm totally for like the sister wives and the Muslim men having multiple wives. Yo, listen, if it works for you,
yeah,
because that's all marriage is an agreement. You know what I mean? Like whatever, same sex marriage, whatever makes you happy, whatever agreement makes you happy. Think as far outside the box as you need to think. You know what I mean? Don't live your life within the guidelines of some social construct that's been put in place that that tells you that you have to do this way. Foundation there. If you're gonna veer off away from that foundation, just make sure that you in that relationship with somebody who thinks like you.
Yeah.
And you guys come up with an agreement that makes both of y'all happy. That's it.
Let me ask you this. How, why, and what made you get married, even though the world is, for some reason, against marriage? Because I know y'all been together since y'all were young, but why is it so difficult or so something? I don't know what it is. It's almost like Black people are against marriage. What can you say about your marriage that can help people understand how important it is to you?
Well, it's probably the most important thing, you know, in my life right now, just where I'm at this age. But I did get lucky, you know, like we said before, like I met my wife in high school. You know, we pretty much raised each other. So getting married wasn't even like such a conscious decision that we just, you know, it was just the logical next step. You know what I mean? Like the first time I got my hands on some money, I bought her a ring. That was like a big deal. That was like a thing.
Yeah.
And then eventually just tying the knot was just a part of it. But by that time we had already been living with each other for years. And honestly, that's marriage. If you live with somebody, you're married. You know what I mean? Because that's basically what needs to happen for you to know if marriage is for you.
But you gotta get married though.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have to, but I mean, if you're apprehensive about the actual marriage part, the marriage part is just a contract and a ceremony.
Yeah.
But you figuring out whether you're cut out for it or not, move in with the person. Move in with the person. If you're apprehensive about getting married, move in with the person first and see how you like that.
But isn't that the road to single motherhood though? Because when you move in with a person, y'all waking up having sex, there are no more condoms. Like ain't nobody using condoms no more. Now the repetition of having unprotected sex becomes like, you know what I'm saying, like 10 times a month versus, you know, oh, I ain't got no condom. It's okay, just this one time because you going over her house or whatever. And next thing, so to me, in my opinion, the shacking up part is the main reason why there are so many single mothers, dudes and chicks. That either the dude wants to save some money and move in with her, or the woman wants to save some money and move in with him. And there's no direction or purpose of them living together other than, hey, you over here all the time, you might as well move in. So I'm against that because there's no purpose behind it. It sounds like y'all had a purpose, you know, like you said, y'all raised each other. But a lot of these people out here, especially now with inflation, folks just living together so they can save some money. They don't even want to be with the other person.
Yeah, I mean, but that's a whole different scenario. You know, like you don't want to be with the person, you just kind of in there because you need somewhere to go, and you're not even
you think doing that though. Dudes be like, I could do better than this, or I don't want to be with her, but
it's probably a lot. I mean, any situation, any scenario, any way that you slice it, any scenario that you can think of that we can hypothetically come up with, it's going to involve some responsibility. You know what I mean? Like you're either going to be responsible or you're not. If you have sex irresponsibly, then there'll probably be a child. If you drink irresponsibly, then there'll probably be DUI charges.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you either make the choice to do things like a responsible functioning adult or not. You know, like we don't have to shack up with each other to accidentally have a baby. You know, like if we don't use birth control, that's the logical next step. You know, when my child got caught fooling around with his longtime girlfriend, and we had to talk to her parents.
Yeah, that
was a big thing. But my thing was, all right, so birth control, y'all with it or not? You know what I mean? Because it's at that moment we know this is something that they're not ready for, and we know that it's coming if we don't start taking some steps. And it's just like, you know, and they've been together ever since. Still, he's 23, he's still with her. She graduated from college, and she still hasn't got pregnant. Now I can't wait till they have some babies. I want to be a granddaddy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But without that guidance, without that tutelage, and them just feeling like that they would get in trouble for fooling around, and no parents involved to kind of help guide them.
Yeah,
children probably would have been the logical next step. Quick.
Yeah, that's a fact. I can understand that. So there was some guidance in the middle of what you and, you know, some people are doing when it comes to shacking up, but shacking up with no guidance and y'all are just doing things for convenience. Men and women, just know that you are in some type of way contributing to the problem if you don't have a purpose in what you're doing. You know, we got to stop using each other for coping mechanisms, somewhere to stay, or a reason to be proud of yourself, because, you know, you think being single means that you can't get nobody. So just being in relationships make you feel better about yourself, right? But you don't really want to be with that person, or you don't think the person wants to be with you, but it's just better than being single. These things are going to turn around and continue to cause more women being single mothers and more men being just, you know, out of household dudes that's paying child support, and they're not even fathers. They just dudes who mad they gotta pay child support. You know what I'm saying? So it's a slippery slope, you know. And L Nixon, the voice of reasons, thank you for the super chat. Shout out to you, bro, and shout out to Royce for standing on a code in the culture, peace, and blessings. 1000%. I don't want to hold you up, but I want to play the video, and I want to see what you think about the video, because a lot of people or we're like, okay, so what video? What's with the video? Because we talked about single motherhood being a failure a little bit, but I want to see how you respond to the whole video, because I'm assuming you didn't see the whole video, right?
Yeah, I just seen the clip.
All right, so here's the video, and everybody, make sure to hit the like button. There's 152 people in here. Can you please hit the like button? Hit the like button. All right, here we go.
Woman doesn't need a husband to be successful, because I didn't need my husband. I was already successful and up before I had him.
What are you talking about?
You don't need a husband to be successful. Not at all.
What does successful look like, Royce?
Happy in your own skin, happy with the person that you are, in love with the person that you are, that you don't have to look for a man to love you, because you already love yourself. And that's what I mean by a successful female, because success can look in any other way.
Is this successful female going to have children?
Yeah, she may have children. She may have children.
So
she may.
So is part of being successful with kids?
Yes, you can be successful with kids. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So how can you be in this, what you just painted out to be successful, without being married, and you have a child in this scenario? So without
the child has nothing to do with that scenario.
Children has everything to do with that scenario. So when you said a woman can be successful and not get married, when you add a child to that, she is no longer successful. She is now a single mother, and being a single mother is not success. Single motherhood is failure. A child, a family, comprises of a man and a woman, not a woman. If you are a single mother, there is a certain amount of failure, and I'm sorry to say this, but we got to stop this shit. We have to look at life the way it actually is, instead of what y'all asses want it to be. For you to sit here and say you could be successful, cool, yes. But when I started asking you different parts of the success, and you started adding children, well, if there's no man in the household, if there's no man leading, helping you raise that child, sorry, that is not success. See, if you would have said, oh, one can make millions of dollars, not that's success. But there is no success when there's only a mother and not a father in the household, because then you're thinking selfishly. You may feel like you're successful, but does your child think you're successful? Does your child think that they're successful? No, because they didn't have no daddy. And even if the daddy was around, they didn't have a daddy raise them in the same household. There is no success without the intact family. Now, I've admitted in my own life that I have a failed marriage, and I spent time with my kids, but I was no longer in the household. The number one thing we have to do is stop being children and be real with ourselves and say, hey, I do have a certain level of failures in my life. Therefore, I cannot do them again. A lot of these ladies, they're not cognizant of their failures because they're used to women saying, oh, don't worry about that. Oh, it's his fault. It's her fault. It's this person's fault. It's that person's fault. And there's no level of accountability, because if you don't see where you failed at, you're destined to fail again in the same way.
So that's the actual full video. So does the full video change the way you see anything, or any different thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think you added some context to it, and I think that she started to understand. I mean, how did the conversation end?
The conversation ended where she understood, you know, she was still a little bit argumentative, just the need to be right side of it. But at the end of the day, it turned into an okay conversation after that. But
it seemed like it's a difficult conversation to have.
Yeah.
It's very hard to talk about things like accountability and to make observations. Number one, without coming off like it's coming from a place of judgment, and number two, not to minimize her accomplishments, her achievements, because when a woman is a single mother, you know, like we talked about fulfillment earlier, like that may be one of the things that make her feel whole. You know, she can't look, she doesn't have a man to look to for that, or she doesn't have a man to lean on for that kind of fulfillment. So it's like, I don't need a man,
Yeah.
to be successful. And she's probably very successful in her career. And she may not be taking into consideration the possibility that she may have failed her child because,
and her child may not feel the same way she feels.
Yeah, that's just a tough pill to swallow, man. I feel like, like when you have children, man, we looking all of our decisions in the face. And the older we get and the older that they get, we see it more and more. Like a friend of mine, actually DJ Premier, we were on tour one time, bro, and we got to show 2. And his dad called him. He was in the hospital, he was pretty much on his deathbed. And
wow.
he said, son, I need you. I don't think I'm gonna make it through the weekend.
Yeah.
So he's down in Texas. So Kareem stopped the tour, went down there. The man still with his wife. He's been with his wife for I don't know how many years. All of his children, all college graduates. He built the house that they grew up in himself. Owned the house, and he built the house
himself.
Yes, he left. He left behind money. You know what I'm saying? All of his kids are successful.
Yeah,
man. He said he wanted to die in his house, the house that he built, and the house that he raised his kids in.
Yeah,
they moved him to the house, and everybody showed up at the house. All of his kids were present.
Yeah.
Gathered around his bed with his queen, looked around the room, looked at everybody, and just passed away. And to me,
golly,
that's what I call going out like a gangster. That's a man who made some good decisions in his life. Without even having to know all of the details, because the kids don't have to be present, man. There's a lot of daughters out here that wouldn't piss on their daddies if their daddy was on fire. You know what I mean? Because their daddy failed them.
Right.
And so you just never know how a child is going to process that trauma. So it's very, very important that you put your best foot forward as a father.
Yeah.
And as mothers, you know what I mean? Because the ideal situation is for your family to be right there. Because I can look around, and as long as my babies are there, I can go in peace. It's no need to be afraid of death at that point.
Because you've done everything that you needed to do. Your job is now done, right?
You conquered manhood.
Yes. And
those are the kind of funerals that you don't need to cry at that funeral. To be sad about. That's a proud funeral.
Yeah, that's a proud funeral. Yes. One thing I always talk about as far as men and women go, I believe in protecting my family even after I die, by just giving my kids or anybody around me that wants to listen a set of principles to go by, right? Things to operate from, a system to raise their kids with, So even if you're just a single mother or woman or whatever, you are still like, because I literally run other women's households remotely without even trying to, because they have what I have in my head, and they just operate their household the way I operate my household from a systematic standpoint, right? So if I pass away today, there will be a certain amount of households still being ran by me 5 years from now. And that right there makes me feel proud.
So, I mean, they got to, and also they got to be able to depend on us out in the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it should be like, damn, that's my sister right there. That's my sister right there.
Yeah.
Like she's having a hard time right now. She's being cursed out by a male Karen.
Male Karen.
Dash right on in there and let him know that if he puts his hands on her, I'm gonna paint the wall with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You might as well be messing with my real sister. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I identify with what she's going through. Like nobody else can. So you may not have a husband in the household who you can call, but there should always be somebody close by who can identify with the struggle, who's not judging you, who's just there. You know what I mean? So I just got a place in my heart for every way in which that we went wrong, because it's all for a reason. It all leads to something. It all leads to something. And a lot of the things, a lot of the intangibles that it leads to are things that weren't our fault.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it's completely my fault that I became an alcoholic. I think I'm genetically predisposed to being an addict. You know what I mean? But I also think that the way
there is a nature versus nurture side. Nature probably, you know, has it in you to, you know, have the addictive nature, you know, because of it being a part of your DNA. But the nurture side is how your wife stood beside you and she didn't allow you to go down that road. So there's a nature versus nurture with everybody. Yeah.
Well, drinking to escape something. It started with me without me knowing that that's what was happening.
Right.
Sometimes I used to wonder, like, why is it that after 2 a.m. when the bar closed, I'm the only one that still want to drink and everybody else ready to go home?
Because you don't want to go home.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go home, and I wanted to keep drinking though.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and then it made me think of like way back in the day. I think my dad kind of told me, because I went to rehab with my dad. My dad had an addiction. Cocaine was his addiction, so he had to go to rehab. Yeah. That's another super strong man thing that he did right in front of us.
Went to rehab.
Rehab.
Yeah.
Rehab. Yeah. I know it was tough for him to do because he's a proud.
Yeah.
You know, like the daddies from that generation, for whatever reason, they didn't want you to know that they made mistakes.
The James Evans.
Yeah, they wanted to appear perfect. You know what I mean? So it was one of those things. So he told me, don't mess with drugs and stuff. Don't drink, don't mess with none of that stuff, because you're not gonna be able to do it like your friends can. I remember him saying that, and I'll never forget that. And I didn't know what that meant until I actually went through it myself. Yeah. Yeah. And he was right. Do it like I wasn't able to do it like my friends could. You know, like my wife could go hang out with me and have a drink or two and be fine. Yeah. Me, I can't understand. I can't wrap my brain around that concept. It's like, how? All or nothing.
But, you know what I mean? But that's a belief system, all or nothing. Like my dad was an alcoholic and my mom was a weedaholic, you know, and she smoked weed, cigarettes. It's either one in her mouth or the other one, or she's eating one of the three. And like, I never smoked weed in my life. I drank, but I always thought, because this is the belief system I had. I always thought everything around me was idiotic. All right. Like living in the projects was stupid. That's why I left, because I thought everything was super. You know, like it's dumb. It didn't flash like one of those police flashlights. You know, and I didn't get knocked out. And it hurt so much. Where you ever been in pain where you just want to go to sleep?
Oh yeah. For sure.
Like, I don't want to just be out here sitting on the curb getting beat up by police, or worrying about a robbing crew, or worrying about going to jail. I don't want to go through this. This is stupid. So the whole life smoking weed and all this drinking, like for what? This is stupid. We'll just go in an empty house as kids and we'll just be drinking. Sometimes it'd be cold. We just out shivering, drinking. And I'm like, what are we doing? Like, you know, it'd be like November, it'd be like 37 degrees and we in an empty house sneaking drink. Why? What are we doing? Where the girls at? Like, this is stupid. You know, like I want to sit in. It was just so much stupidity around me. But I just didn't want to do any of these things that everybody was so excited to do. And to me, it was in my genes because my mom had addictive personality and my dad had addictive personality, but my belief system kept telling me like, no, this is stupid. See, my mom, I thought my mom was on crack because we didn't know what crack actually looked like, right? Mm-hmm. So any drug that somebody does that isn't cigarettes was drugs. We didn't know. This is your brain on drugs. They didn't show what crack looked like. So my mom would smoke weed and we thought it was crack. So my friends used to laugh at me saying, because it was a song called Your Mama's on Crack Rock. Mm-hmm. And they used to say, Your Mama's on crack rock. And I'm like, and back then it was seeds in the weed. And you have to like separate them, right? So I thought the seeds were the crack rock. I actually made sense of what they were teasing me about. Like, so what is this stuff? It's not rock. I'm like, oh, the seeds. And I'm like, and I used to like find my mama's weed and throw it out. I used to, because I was just so upset because I'm like, Ma, you're on drugs. I didn't know what it was. So I think so many of those situations made me say, yo, I don't want to do none of this stuff. I don't want my kids thinking I'm on crack, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was a terrible feeling to me to go through.
Wrong man. I mean, the unfortunate side of that is think about how many kids come up in those environments and they see the world that way. They think that that's the rest of the world.
Yeah.
That's why I recommend, man, if you're afforded the luxury, you should have your kids travel. Definitely travel. You got to travel. You got to travel. I mean, in some instances, I've seen a kid getting out of high school and traveling being more useful to them than college. Beneficial to them than college, because a lot of times most kids don't know what they want to do when they get out of high school.
Right.
Regardless of what they tell you, they don't know what they want to do. They still kind of feeling it out. So, just the social development alone could stand to do them so much good.
Yeah.
As opposed to going to college and kind of like subscribing to another sort of infrastructure.
Ideology. Yeah.
In some cases, but I do recommend college if you can do it. If you can do it, I think you should do it. Like knowledge is knowledge, man. Knowledge is always going to be useful, even when you think you can't apply what you learn to the real world. Because I hear a lot of the kids saying that, but take it from a guy who's not an academic. I wish I could have went.
I actually wish I could have went too. Yeah, I agree. All right, so Loved One says, thank you for the super chat. Why don't men demand marriage from women? Well, we don't demand marriage. We give marriage. That's the first thing. Instead of before we lay with them. Well, we don't want to get married to somebody we ain't laid with. That's okay, but we don't want to do that. Why don't men take their children with them when the marriage ends? Well, in most cases, we can't take our children with us. I could not take my children with me. So to a certain degree, kids automatically at default go with their mom. So unless you want to fight for custody and go back and forth and do all this other stuff, they go with their mom. And then she says, why don't men bash men whose children doesn't live with them full time? Well, the first thing I want to say, Loved One, is I need you to get some therapy because you seem extremely triggered, and all you want to do is operate with this external locus of control. I believe in operating from an internal locus of control, just like I was talking about with the football scenario. If a player on the offense does not make a touchdown, they don't blame them not getting a touchdown on the defense. No, they sit back and look at how they can be better the next time they go out on the field. So as a woman, Loved One, it's important for you to stop worrying about what men are doing and focus on how you can demand marriage from a man. And it's not about demanding, it's about having it as a requirement. You could simply, in a feminine way, say, hey, I can't see myself being with somebody over 2 years without them marrying me. But depending on your age.
You gotta understand too that you're not being bashed. You're not being bashed.
Right.
Like when I think that, well, I know that women are naturally by instinct more nurturing than men are. So if you're talking about younger kids, the best decision for them, the best place for them is with their mother first. So I would always recommend them being with their mother first. That should always be the first option. I mean,
I agree with that.
9 out of 10 kids, if you ask them who would they prefer to be with, they're gonna say their mom. You know what I mean? It's just it's kind of like what it is. That's just the best place for them. But I've seen situations where men have the kids full time. You know what I mean? And men have to make an adjustment. I know I've seen a few situations like that, and it works out. So it just depends. I don't think that any of us are in a position to bash. We so far past that point. You know what I mean? Like, I think we to the point now where there has to be grace. We got to give grace.
Yes.
There has to be grace, understanding, no judgment, and just start to think more solutionary and start to learn how to communicate with each other from a place of understanding. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Kind of like where I'm at with it, and I know how easy it is to turn some of these conversations into an argument because, I mean, come on, man. They've been getting bashed. Getting bashed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so as far as
I got friends of mine who, they come hang out with me at the studio. And their significant others at the house, they think the worst thoughts because it's not that they don't necessarily trust their man. Yeah. But he's up against the reputation of the business that I'm in.
The business. Yeah.
So, like, it's so many ignorant Negroes that just give good men a bad name. You know what I mean? Give us a bad reputation. So that's another thing that we got to fight through. So
and then as far as the thought process of single mothers and a woman's feeling of being, you're bashing women for being single mothers. It's simply, like I said in the particular video I played, it's about all of us just taking a second to say, all right, if I don't recognize and become cognizant of what went wrong in my life, how I was feeling in my life to make me go over the cliff in whatever you did to put yourself in a negative position, how can I be better, right? If I ever robbed banks and went to prison or whatever, I'm not gonna blame the bank. I'm not gonna blame the police for locking me up, right? I gotta look at myself and say, what state of mind was I in for me to want to go rob a bank? So ladies, what state of mind were you in to have unprotected sex with a dude that you most likely knew didn't want to be with you? He probably told you he didn't want to be with you and he just wanted to hang out. What was going through your mind to make you allow certain things to happen? So instead of running around blaming the man that made a baby with you, and you're now the only person raising the child, you're not the better person to a certain degree. You are a co-conspirator to the bank robbery situation. One person just got caught and the other person didn't. You both did something wrong because neither one of y'all did the wherewithal and did the work in order to raise this child together, or to want to be there, or to want to wear a condom, or to want to have, to take the precautions of sex. You both were co-conspirators to the way your life actually is. And one person went to quote unquote prison being a single mother. I'm not saying being a single mother is prison, but and then the other person ran away and got away, but you both did something wrong. So instead of looking at the person that got away and isn't having to deal with the stuff that you're dealing with, you got to look at why you two decided to do what y'all did in the first place, so you won't do that same thing with another co-conspirator in the future. Because that's really the bottom line. A man and a woman who has a child, and that child is now fatherless or from a broken home, you and that man were co-conspirators to the destruction of that child's psyche. Because now that child is going to grow up with abandonment issues, resentment, sometimes for you. Sometimes a child grows up with resentment towards the person that stayed as much as the person that left. So you're not always off the hook as a mom, but at the end of the day, why be a single mother in the first place? Require somebody to marry you, have a certain amount of standards, like use birth control, like something. We just have to work together as a community to end this freaking epidemic of fatherless freaking kids. And I'm here with a married man who did everything to the best of his ability the right way. And his wife stood beside him and she did everything she possibly could do in her power to keep her family together. And that's all I'm here to help do. I'm here to help facilitate that. You got to do the work because my kid's grown. So I ain't got no fatherless kids or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You the one with the fatherless kids. But instead of blaming us for your father's kids, your kids being whatever it is, focus on yourself. Do better in your life so you won't repeat the problem. So your children won't repeat your issue and make it their issue and then become victims of their problem that they made, like you're victims of your problem that you made. That's the thing. Be cognitive of your own actions. But Royce, you got anything to say on that? Yeah. I want to hold you up. I want to just give you grace, bro, because I appreciate this. Like,
thank you, man.
1,000%.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you too, man. Appreciate you too. Definitely appreciate the invite. You are definitely a gangster. You definitely don't hold your tongue. You know what I mean? I agree with some of the stuff that you said. You know what I mean? And I just listen, man. I sympathize. I empathize with everything that our women have to go through.
Yeah,
you know? And our men too. It goes both ways. It's not anybody's fault. You know, right. What I mean? It's something that we all need to work on as a community. You know, you can't do it by yourselves, women. And, we can't do it by ourselves. We need you. You know, like even when we can't express that, even when it's, you know, like the masculine thing kicks in, we can't find the words. We do. Take it from me.
1,000% we need y'all. Yes.
Self-deprecating, self-loathing, self-destructive thinking. Everything that I survive lets me know that I'm here for a reason, you know. So I like to think that I didn't make so many crucial mistakes, like in my career and in my relationship, just for those to be in vain. I love passing down, you know, information and things that I learned from making such huge mistakes. You know what I mean?
Right.
I just, you know, I pray for everybody.
Right.
Man, but I definitely appreciate you having me, my good brother.
All right, man. You welcome back at any time, man. Because one thing that stood out to me in this conversation was how emotional, how vulnerable, how intuitive it actually was. You feel me? And to a certain degree, it was better than I thought it was going to be, because I've seen a couple. You know, I listen to your lyrics, how deep they are. Like I see how you interact with Joe and them. So I had an idea, you know what I mean? But I did not know how deep this actually was going to get. And that depth is what I want to tell you that I really appreciate, because this was really, really a helpful conversation.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Love and respect to you, man.
All right, man. Well, have a good one, man.
You too, my bro. Peace.
All right.
Peace.
All right, y'all. So hit the like button if you guys enjoyed it. For some of you people like, well, how am I gonna hit the like button in the beginning of the video? So for those of you who have not hit the like button in the beginning of the video, can you please hit the like button now? Like, have I earned the like now? Possibly, huh? Facebook, YouTube, can I get your likes now? Y'all get on my nerves. I'm like, whoa, how am I hit the like button in the beginning? Hit it now. Hit it now. So, like always, if you guys, John says no. Yeah, y'all get on my nerves. But shout out to Duty Honored Caffeine for the super chat. He says, I disagree that nurturing is the best for children. Protection is first. Children in single homes raised by women are at higher risk to the child, and that women 40 times more likely to be abused, for example. To a certain degree, I agree with you, but to a certain degree, I agree with Royce. For those of you who did not have their mother growing up, that you talking about trauma. And imagine not having your mom, or your mom like giving you up. That is more traumatizing than anything having to do with a dad. We need our mother. Okay? Nobody can take the place of our mother. So for some of you guys who think, no, a man is a better father, eventually I can agree. I mean, a better parent. Eventually, yeah, when a child turns 9, 12, 14, yes. But there's nothing on the planet better than a mother, even when she's trash. The softness of a mother, the breastfeeding, the just hugging your mom. You know, there's a different type of safety when it comes to a mother versus a father, you know. But this is the reason why the dynamic between a mother and a father being in the same household is so freaking important in the first place. So, because the way I look at it, why does somebody have to make a choice? Why does somebody have to make a choice between a mother and a father? Why don't y'all get married and your child, guess what? No longer has to make a freaking choice. They can have mothers and fathers. Can you all give your child something that your parent didn't give you, which is a mother and a freaking father? Is that too much to ask from you, ladies and gentlemen? So I'm going to drop the link in here. And if somebody wants to come up, y'all can. I'll give y'all a few minutes to come up. So get your bonnets ready or whatever. Because I know it's like 9 o'clock. So y'all probably got y'all bonnets on. I don't have a problem with bonnets. I'm not going to talk mess about your bonnets or whatever. I don't care about all that stuff. I care about you getting married. I don't care about no bonnet. I care about what's on your finger, not about what's on your head. So if anybody wants to come up, I welcome you to come up. But overall, this was a very good conversation. This was very good. This was really dope. Aaron stays showing me how to be a better woman. Yeah, shout out to Bree. Bree is in my coaching group. For those of you who don't know, I have a coaching group. Yes, I am a man that has a coaching group for women. And this is something that may be new to a lot of people. But Bree right here, Bree XO, she is in my coaching group, and she has been there for, I don't remember how long she's been there, but like, you guys would never believe how amazing a group of women could be when they're being led by a man. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So let me bring some people up.
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's going on? How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I just wanted to say, man, hey, great conversation, man. You know, I like to see that. You know, we all have different, you know, approaches on trying to help and solve a problem. You know what I mean? And I just want to say shout out to you, man, for being one of the options that people can have. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's different approaches to solve it, and you're one of them. So thank you for being an option for people out there. That's all I got, bro. Keep doing your thing.
Man, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate your support and everything, man, because you're right. I'm just simply another option for people to be able to take advantage of. You know, if not me, cool. But I don't want anybody out there to think that they don't have a place to go for coaching or anything, you know, because like I said, I'm simply just a facilitator. A lot of times I don't know anything. I'm just very good at articulating what I or we as a group have read in the book that we're going over, you know, at a particular time. So I'm not the guru to nothing, but at the end of the day, yes, I am an option for men and women to take advantage of if they want to. So yeah, I appreciate you saying that, brother.
All right, I'm about to hop down. I got my little man with me, but man, you know, if I see some stuff out there, you know, I'm gonna hit you up.
Yeah,
you already know.
Yeah. I appreciate
right,
you, man. All
All
right.
right, I'm gonna drop down to listen, man. You be easy.
Okay.
All right, man.
All right, loved one, you there?
Great day. Can you hear me?
Uh-huh. How are you?
I'm great. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Okay, so maybe it was a bit of semantics in my super chat comment. So I will use the word require then. Why don't men as a whole, as a collective, especially our melanated men here in this Western society, why don't they require marriage before they choose to share themselves physically with women?
There's a lot of reasons why, but the main reason why is because we don't want to. And I'm not trying to be funny. We have to understand that, you know, we can't run around saying, why is the sky blue? Why is water wet? Why do men do this? Because we want to, you know? So
Whoa. Hold on.
Hold on.
Go ahead. It's your show. Go ahead.
So your job as a woman is to simply have requirements. So the only people that can or will come into your space are people that you have vetted already, and they want or are willing to work for the same things that you want. And now we don't have to worry about, why don't the people do this? Why are homeless people on the street? I don't know. Probably because I don't know. You know, like, this is an external locus of control approach that a lot of women have. They just want to run around wondering why other people don't do what they want them to do because they don't want to, you know? So does that make sense?
What you're saying makes sense, but also what you're saying on a deeper level is that women have requirements and that men don't. Because you're saying that we just don't want to, right? So in essence, they don't want to get married. They don't want commitment. They don't want responsibility to the household and the family headship.
Loved one,
Which means that the women do have requirements.
Can you stop for 1 second? You're doing the same thing over again. Why are you worrying about other people? All you have to do is require certain things, and those men will never come close to you. Who cares why people that you don't want in the first place are doing something? Why do bees fly? Why do flies fly around? Why do mosquitoes bite people? Who cares? I'm gonna keep my window closed and not be outside around shrubbery at night, then I ain't got to worry about mosquitoes biting me, right? Does that make sense?
The analogies that you're using make sense, but it doesn't make sense when it comes to a community-based functioning society.
How?
Because one, I can stay in the house and manage everything because I can work from home, right? But then when I have to go outside of my doors and interact with a community that is supposed to be a community and not isolated peoples, then that's a difference.
Well, you going do you marry a whole bunch of people, or do you need to marry one person?
No.
You're only having sex with and marrying one person at a time. True.
Correct.
True.
But
all you have to do is worry about women.
But community is not about me having sex with everybody.
Loved one. Wait, one second. So all you have to do is focus on one man that is in that community that is doing not what you want to do, that is doing what you've required, which is in a list of one of your requirements and your standards. And if he isn't doing A, B, and C, you simply dismiss that person. And this is a process, because everybody isn't going to come in your space and just do everything. No, it's a community side of being in a relationship. What does he want? What does he require? Are you giving and doing the things that he is requiring? You know, because there's certain things that men, because I could easily say, why are so many black women overweight? You know, I can say that. You know, I can sit around like, why is all these women overweight? Why they can't go to the gym? The first thing I will say is because they don't want to. So with me, if you follow me or pay attention to my content, I have requirements. I don't do women who wear wigs. I don't do women who are overweight. I don't do women who aren't active, because you could be small naturally, but if you ain't active and you ain't really into outdoorsy stuff or going to the gym, I still don't want you. So all of these overweight wig wearing women have no factor on how I operate in the world, because I don't even see them, because they aren't up to my standards and requirements. So there's no reason for me to complain about people who I don't even want. Does that make sense, loved one? You there?
Oh, yes. I apologize. I was looking at something over there. No, that makes sense. No, I was listening. I heard everything that you said. You said fat women with weaves and that can be small, but they're not active and don't go to the gym, and you still don't want them, so they're not in your eyesight. I heard everything you said. I comprehended. Yes.
Because you don't see me also, what's wrong with these fat women? What's wrong with these women who goes there? What's wrong with it? Nope. You know, it'll be a conversation that can come up. You know, I'll have a conversation about anything, right? But you ain't gonna see me saying, all right, y'all, we gonna talk about this type of woman that I don't even want. That don't make no sense. So as you just operate in your life, just keep in mind the external locus of control is bad. The internal locus of control is good, which means I can only control what's in my own circumference or my own, world, my own circle. So what other people are doing, what these men are doing, has nothing to do with you. Because like I said, women could be as fat as whatever it is they want to. I don't care, because I ain't finna date them. You know, I could be friends with somebody, but I ain't finna date them. So as long as they don't fill in my butt and try to get with me or DM me or whatever, we good. We could be hanging out. We could do whatever. Don't come at me, because you're not my type. And as long as they keep they boundaries and I keep my boundaries from them, we all happy and we can all live as a community, because I don't want that particular person, and cool. You know what I'm saying? So with the losers and the men don't take care of their kids, who cares what they're doing? Set your boundaries, set your standards, set your requirements, and y'all could cohabitate in the same room. They know not to say nothing to you because they don't take care of the kids. And boom, everybody can be friends and be happy and dance around and Be happy.
I wanted to, if I may, ask your personal perspective on a question before I jump down.
Okay.
In order to free, well, no. Let me not say it that way because I don't want semantics on the words. Do you think as a collective that it would be beneficial for the community of single mothers to be taken out of the shaming and the bashing and the failure category if the men were to rally together and come back and get their children? Would that help the community if the men chose to come back and get their children and raise their children so that the women wouldn't be the problem? Because it sounds like the women that are choosing to stay and raise the children, that yes, they did choose to have with men that left, right? I'm not taking them off the hook for that. But in order for the women to be taken out of the bondage of prison that I described,
The
do you
bondage
think
of
it's
prison? You mean the person that robbed
earlier?
the bank is
No,
complaining about being in prison?
No. Earlier when you were speaking to the first man that came up, right before him, you were saying that single motherhood. You used the word prison in a way. It's like they're in a box.
No. I said a person that robs a bank and they had a co-conspirator that got away. You don't run around blaming the person that helped you rob the bank. You got to look at yourself. Why the hell did you rob the damn bank? You just mad because you got caught, and you got to deal with the prison of single motherhood, and the other guy who got away don't have to deal with nothing. And you just jealous that you got to deal with all the stuff and he don't. No, you got to look at why the hell did you rob the bank? That was what I was saying.
No. It's not jealousy because on a lot of different platforms, it's been stated that women don't need to be raising children on their own because they're not capable of doing it because of okay, great. So
You
if I
just look at
agree,
black people, the average black person is screwed up, traumatized,
okay.
abusive,
So if I
all that stuff. That comes from the person that stayed and raised them.
Okay, so if I agree with you that the person that stayed and raised them is deficient, on many levels across the board, is deficient in raising children. Why isn't the ones that on the other end, because if one vessel is empty, the other vessel is full. Okay. So if
I
the
don't
vessel
understand what that means. No, I don't know. Know what that means.
Well, if the woman is not capable of raising children on her own, and it is the problem that the women raising children on their own is the problem to the community as a whole, right? Why are not the ones that obviously are capable, which are the men, of raising the children? Why are they not coming getting the children out of bondage?
Let me answer that.
Why are the men not coming getting the children out of bondage?
Let me answer that. You answer your question.
Go ahead. Yeah.
The answer to this is I did a video about this yesterday or 2 days ago when I had the married couple come up. Okay. The answer to this is to find a man, like as an example, I have a coaching group, right? Any one of the ladies in my coaching group and any of you here can simply be dating a guy, right? Your job as a woman who is inept and incapable totally of finding a proper mate and vetting him, because you are a woman, you don't know what the heck you're doing, right? And that's literally what I have been saying. And it is proof that y'all don't know what the hell y'all doing, because the world wouldn't, as black people, wouldn't be so screwed up if y'all knew what y'all were doing. So it doesn't start. Listen, I'm not done. I'm not done, loved one.
Go ahead.
It's not about motherhood. It's about planning. Like, you guys are not requiring somebody to marry you. You guys are just having unprotected sex with the dudes, and the dudes that you are choosing are trash. Okay. So you have, just like I said, is homeless people laying all on the ground. Y'all are having sex unprotected with homeless people laying all over the ground, essentially, right? So you can't go to a homeless person after he don't, put a baby in you, and he's a homeless drunk laying on the side of the road. What am I finna go kick the homeless dude and say, hey, go take care of the children? You're gonna be like, huh? What children? Because you are the one who actually had the baby with a loser or a homeless person, right? So it goes back to the woman. Why the hell did you make the choice to have a child with a person, such an individual, such an ingrate in the first place? So we can't go to ingrates and say, hey, go take care of your kids, because they are ingrates. Okay, they are trash. They are pieces of garbage that you chose to allow to impregnate you. Okay, you let a piece of crap blank inside of you. So we have to look at the mental awareness of the woman. So the solution to that is to appoint a man to choose and vet a man for you. And that was what we was talking about yesterday, the day before yesterday, where it was a married, my guy, James, a friend of mine. He said it would behoove women to find a man to vet a woman's dating choice, so he can actually help her make the choice, because women don't know what the hell they're doing. And just to add to that, before you go, because I want to hear what you got to say about that, you can go to me. Okay, it doesn't always have to be a daddy or whatever, just a male in the community that you believe in, that you can trust. Anybody on here, if you dating a guy, just book a one-on-one with me and say, and come on there with the guy you dating, or put the man that you dating on there with me and say, hey, the rite of passage, part of loved ones' requirements is for me to do a one-on-one with you, MrLetGo, for her to properly have me vetted, because that is one of her requirements. So now I vet your choice, and I'm able to give you my feedback after talking with this man for an hour, because a man can lie to you, a man can finesse you, but he can't finesse me, because I am him. And I know more about men than you do. So does that make sense, loved one?
It almost makes sense, and I'm going to explain why it almost makes sense.
Okay.
In order to do that, I have to just ask you a couple of questions. What is the ratio of the years that you were married to the years that you have been divorced?
What does that have to do with anything?
Because if you've been divorced more years than you have been married, and the years that you have been divorced, you've been having sex all of the years that you've been divorced, and you yourself don't require marriage. You yourself don't require or seek marriage from women, but you still have sex with them.
Marriage from
then
women?
How are you able to vet a man is what I would like to know. If your ratio of divorce years are higher,
of divorce years,
okay, meaning if you've been because you said, sir, because you did say that you were married at one time.
This is part of the problem. Can you make some type of sense, please?
I am, sir. You said that you were married at one time and that you are divorced.
What is it? What is this equation? Like, what do I carry the one at?
Sir, if you let me finish my sentence, I'll get there.
I don't want to finish your sentence.
Because how can you vet a man if you've been divorced more years than you've been married? How can you vet a man properly when you're not married?
I'm gonna mute you right here. How do I mute you? Are you gonna stop, or do I need to mute you? The first thing I need you to do is when I say, can we like rehash what we talk about or stop, I need you to stop, okay? Because you have to understand what you're saying makes zero sense, okay? And I have a certain amount of standards and requirements, and I don't want to be talking about gibberish, okay? So if you ask me a question that makes sense, I would love to answer it. But you are, once again, for the third time, operating from an external locus of control. You're worrying about me now.
No, sir. No.
Focus on what you can do to make you a better person and have a certain amount of requirements that only certain people can come into your world. I ain't got to do with that. And I simply said multiple times, I am not a guru. I'm not a know-it-all. I literally said to Royce, I know nothing. The ladies in my coaching group, Bree, how often do I say I know nothing? I don't know nothing, okay? I am simply a facilitator. I am simply a part of our community. And I am a man that will give you a little bit more understanding of what's in front of you than you, because you are a woman and you don't know what the hell you're doing when it comes to men. That is what I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm the know-it-all. I'm just saying I'm a man and I can vet a man better than a woman can. That's simply all I'm saying.
Okay. So may I comment on what you just said, sir? Okay.
We got to get away from that the little equation stuff.
I almost the first time I almost agreed with you when you were saying that a woman should go to another man for that man to vet the man that she may be her potential. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why I said almost agreed with you is this, and which is why I brought up the ratio, but I wasn't making it personal to just you.
You did make it personal, but just me.
No. I was asking a question, but I'm gonna take it away from you to make my point clear.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Hey, what up, man?
Hey, what was her name? Hey, if you want to come back, come back. You just disappeared because I wanted to hear what you had to say. But go ahead, brother. Oh, here she go.
I don't know if you want to switch gears or not. If you want to kind of.
Hold on.
I'm back.
Go ahead. And everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. Sharon, you did not hit the like button. Greg, you did not hit the. Can y'all freaking hit the like button? Go ahead, loved one.
Okay, I'm gonna make it really quick.
Okay.
I almost agreed. Okay, because if I know a man has been married for 30 plus years faithfully via me observing it via him and his wife, right? Observing their interactions, observing the way that they raise their family, right? And they've been married 30 plus years. Then that man, I could say, yeah, that man would be a great man to take the man that I am thinking about dating to vet for me, okay? A man that may have been married 5 years and been divorced for 25 years, that would not be a suitable man to say, hey, I'm going to take you to the man that's been married for 5 years but divorced for 25 years instead of the man that's been married for 30 consecutive years. That was my point of bringing up the ratio.
Okay, so loved one, do this. Find you a man that you trust and put a man in front of him and let him vet him.
Which man? Which man though? Which scenario man?
Whoa! Can you give me a second? Okay.
Yeah.
Can you give me a freaking second, please? I don't care nothing about all this stuff. Okay. Find a man and let him vet him, because you don't know how all you ladies don't know the hell you're doing. Period. I don't care who the man is. I don't care. Let a man vet the man that you're dating. I don't care who he is. Just do it. Or don't do it.
You don't care who he is, so your scenario with the homeless derelict man on the corner, I should take him.
I'm not gonna have this. I don't see women innately. Y'all enjoy arguing, okay?
No, sir. No.
You're arguing. Look, I simply gave you guys something that you can potentially use that will help. Whether you do it or not, I don't give a shit, okay? So that is the point. I don't have an argument because I don't have a horse in the race, because my kids bring men to me for me to vet them. And my daughter has a husband simply because, and you know what I'm saying? She did everything the right way. So if y'all don't want to do it, I don't care. Y'all ain't my kids. Y'all ain't my women. I don't care. Okay. All I am doing, just like Royce said, I am simply somebody that's a part of the community that wants to help. Do I know all the answers? No. But I do know more answers than y'all answers because y'all aren't men. So either do it or don't do it. I don't care. But I'm just sick of y'all screwing up our communities, having fatherless babies. So if you could figure out a roundabout way to not have a fatherless baby, be my guest.
I'm gonna drop down.
No longer arguing about this. So love.
No, I'm gonna drop down. I'm gonna drop down.
Okay.
I just want to clarify that. Would you agree that a man that's been married 30 plus years will actually have more knowledge and wisdom than a man that hasn't? Yeah, exactly.
Bye-bye. All right.
Hey, what up, man?
Oh my God. Do y'all see?
I feel like I've been waiting all this time and you picked that moment in time.
Yeah, no, she really thinks she was making a point. That's what, like, when she first asked the question, I was like, what does that have to, and then you immediately was like, what does that have to do with anything?
Women just,
like, we don't know.
Women
like,
just want to argue because there's a side of them. There's like I say, women are the biggest narcissists on the planet. Okay. And if you cannot, most women can't control their narcissism. Okay. So, and the reason why women are the biggest narcissists on the planet, because for some reason they think simply because they have babies, they are the queens of the universe. But cats have babies, dogs have babies, birds have babies, turtles have more babies than women. So if anybody's a queen of a universe, is a female turtle. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, women have this narcissism about them because they can have babies and men can't. But turtles can have babies and men can't either. So turtles are the queens of the universe. Female turtles, all right? We need to start worshiping female turtles because they can have more babies than y'all asses.
Oh, so, you are so
go
funny.
ahead. Sorry.
Probably ants.
Ants are the queens of the universe. Okay, so if y'all want to measure your,
I do have something for that.
Well, let me say this, ladies. If y'all want to measure your value by your ability to make babies, ants and turtles are the queens of the damn universe, and not y'all asses. So some women just don't know how to curve their levels of narcissism, so they just want to argue. Hey, what if it was 2:00 p.m. and it was cold outside, huh?
It's your delivery, because you're right about everything you're saying, but you just ruffle feathers. That's what you do. You trigger, and I know you do. But
wait, about him? You talking about Aaron?
Yeah, Aaron is, well, I mean, for women who have not done a certain level of internal work, absolutely. He should. Absolutely. What? You have to have a certain type of mind to hear what he's saying, because even me, who I feel that I'm pretty in tune, and I'm like, I have to reel myself in sometimes with him, but he's absolutely right. He is.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Real quick. Where is that? Where is it? It's going up. Somebody says, where are the statistics? I'll pull up some statistics on the turtles. Who want to know about some turtles?
Okay, you wanted to say something, Duty, right? Because I'm like, I want to say something too. So.
Okay, go ahead. Now, somebody want to do the turtle statistics and how many babies a turtle.
Can we not though? Like,
okay.
Hey, this my man's show, so I'm
okay. Go ahead, brother. Turtles can have way
more.
Okay,
however you want to do it, that's fine.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
No, so my last message to you, I was talking about the automatic and initial, I guess, perspective that women are automatically the best parent based on just that they're better nurturers, right? And the last time we spoke, we talked about how protection is the best or the most valuable resource on the planet, right?
No. We weren't talking about women are the best parent. It's just best for the kid to be with the mom initially. They're not the best parents. They're just better off with the mom initially, is all I'm saying. It's all we were saying. We didn't say women are best parents. They're just better to be with their mom, because after a divorce.
Okay. I disagree with that. I may have misspoke. Got your.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying I disagree with that only because of all of the real world statistics, right? So as far as the 40 times more likely to be, assaulted or in an abusive situation, right?
Yes.
You can look at reading rates, you can look at incarceration rates, like just all the things that we already know about what happens when you go down this road.
The reason why so many black people are traumatized because of their mothers allowing it to happen or traumatize them themselves. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
I just think that a lot of people accept, including myself, that women are or mothers are better nurturers. I don't prioritize nurturing children.
But that's all we were saying,
much
though.
As most people. That's the.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, so that's the distinction. I think being a protector, teacher, trainer, right? So when you're speaking about the things that you've learned from your father, as far as training goes, same thing with Royce, as far as training goes, as far as discipline, as far as masculinity, where you don't want to learn masculinity in the streets, you want to learn it in the home. I think all of those things are way more important than being nurtured, right?
But
so
at an early age or after a divorce is important for those, because the intuitive, like the mother side of all of us, mommy versus daddy, mommy is always going to be more important to us as kids. So this is what Royce was saying. Mom is more important to us as kids than dad is. Dad is a better parent than the mom, but to the child, mommy is more important than daddy. What do you think about that part? That's what we were saying.
No,
I'd rather
lose
my daddy than my mommy at any. I'd rather lose my mom than my dad at any point in my life. I mean, I'm sorry. I'd rather lose my dad than my mom at any point in my life.
I can put it to you this way. As a child, I would have thought that my mom was better to live with, be with, grow up with, or whatever.
So stop right there. So wait, so stop right there.
Is absurd.
So stop right there. What we're saying is mommy is more important to us.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't disagree with that part.
Who's a better parent actually depends on the actual parent, because the mom could be a better parent, dad could be a better parent. But being left with dad is actually better than being left with mom, because dad most likely isn't going to allow some woman to blank them when they go to work. But a woman has a man, and men have more of a evilness about them to blank the child when they're around each other, not a woman. You know what I'm saying? So having a dad versus a mom.
Wait, which man though?
Huh? What?
I say which man? Which man?
Bro, now me and you are arguing. I understand what you're saying, okay? Mommy is more important to a child than daddy, no matter what, okay? But with your point, it does make more sense for the kid to go with the dad eventually, so they can learn how to operate outside of the world. But at a young age, that child needs mommy and daddy, but mainly mommy, because of that bond. That child came out of that woman. So let me get to Jade, because I know Jade has a lot to say. What's up?
I'm really.
Oh, and thank you for the Cash App.
Yep. First of all, I want to say, I thank the men that's stepping up. Really, I thank y'all, because we need y'all. We really do. We need this. We really do. And for the women, I just want to speak for the woman who actually came out on the other side of this. Once you get past the anger, once you get past all of that, you can really look at yourself and say, okay, there's a pattern here. there's a pattern here, and we can't control. No, we can't control these men.
They just want us to control these men. Go out here and, hey, stop doing these
mute button.
Huh?
Mute button. You know, mute.
I'm sorry. Go. Okay.
So I read, and I watch a lot of like documentaries, right? And so I love animals, and I saw something with birds. Okay, the female species know their worth. They don't just let any male bird just be the father of their children.
That's all animals except black women.
But I specifically am telling you about birds because they're monogamous a lot of times. The men stay. The men birds stay and raise the kids. See, a lot of the other animals, they do their thing. They still going wrong and get everybody pregnant. Birds, they tend to be monogamous.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to compare our nature because most of us women, you know, even if you're poly or whatever you want to be, still we still have to make kids if that's what you want to do. And something with the eagles, everybody want to talk about, you know, being eagles and, you know, all these things. But if you study the eagle woman, she make him do all types of stuff. He got to be able to go up in the air. He got to be able to flex. He got to be able to show that he has good genes to give. And we are the only ones as Black women that has bought into this ideology that we don't have a right to choose because we have dads. And that's okay to be upset.
What do you mean the right to choose?
We forget that we have the right to choose. We think that
y'all choose wrong. What do you mean?
But let me hold on before you say we choose wrong. It's what I grew up. I'm gonna speak for myself. I'm not gonna speak for Black women. I grew up feeling like because my butt didn't look like other women. I wasn't built like the regular Black girl. Like you know, if you don't look a certain way, that's your worth. We don't feel I didn't feel like I could just go out here and choose what I wanted. I didn't understand that because I didn't have a father say, hey, you know, you worth this. You're beautiful. Yeah. You're this and you're that. And I'm an anomaly in this way. I didn't have a good mother either. So I felt just abandoned on all ends of the spectrum. Right. I was just out here without any guidance. And so I feel like personally, you know, if it's a Royce that's empowering us through compassion and empathy, or if it's a MrLetGo that's gonna like get in the crevices and irritate you to just be like, look at yourself. We have to just accept the men that are stepping up and saying thank you.
Yes.
Instead of coming up here and being defensive.
Ladies.
Listen.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we cannot keep complaining about the men that's not stepping up. Because if you listen to what he's saying you chose them. And we did. We, meaning.
That's all I'm saying.
We did too. We chose it.
Yeah.
Okay. So if we didn't choose it, we wouldn't be stuck in it. And I mean that from a sense of compassion because I've been there. I'm speaking from a place of authority from my story. I had to get over childhood traumas and everything, and just because he's not saying it in a nice way that makes it go down, you know, sometimes people like a little sugar in their coffee, MrLetGo, like you just, you know, some people aren't straight black coffee, but
well, so let me do this. Ladies, y'all don't know the hell y'all doing. Is that enough? Ladies,
listen, I can take it, but
I'm saying y'all don't know the hell y'all doing, but I
can take it, but I'm not, I can take it, but I'm telling you, the delivery is what is missing because everybody wants to be validated, Aaron. We want to be validated. We want to be like, that's what Royce does. He validates. That's what makes him. That's why I love when y'all were talking so much, because it was like two sides of the same coin. Both y'all doing the same work, uplifting, because you do everything from a place of love, and I appreciate you. I really do. If I didn't, you would know. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, but I'm not gonna sit and be like, oh yeah, everything you say is just right. No, like you irritate me too, but I know that you're irritating me in a good way, because that means that I need to be healed in that area. Because what is wrong with what you're saying? That I can do, yeah, you can do that, because guess what, ladies? We are stuck 9 months. If he don't want to be there, you still got the baby in your stomach. The levels of investment is not the same.
Right. So Jay,
it's not.
So congratulations to you, because Jade is in my coaching group. Shout out to you. And Bree, who is also in my coaching group, thank you for the $30 super chat. And she says, Bree is in my coaching group. She says 2 women from Aaron's coaching group got engaged this year, and 1 woman got married last year. So yes. So awesome. So for anybody, so why aren't you doing this and da da da? Look, like I said, y'all do what the hell y'all want, because I don't care, because we're gonna rock out.
You do care. Why would you say you don't? I don't.
Let me tell you something, Jay. Let me tell you something. I'm not going to care more than you are. So
I get that, but you do care.
So you got to meet me halfway. So these little angry women who be all combative, apparently they don't give a damn about their lives, because they already done ruined it, and they're justifying how they've ruined it even worse. So a person that justifies how they've ruined their life, they don't care. So I don't care.
Can you please just accept that some women really just still like they're a little bit in their traumas, and then you're just like, everybody not ready for the entire mirror to be put
they get the therapy, until they get the coaching, until they actually become active in their own lives to do something about their trauma. They don't care.
You're right. But you could say, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you, because that's really like when I'm.
Can I ask a question, Jay?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
All right, so you were saying that there's delivery, there's tone, there's ruffled feathers, right? And then, which I understand, right? And then you said everyone's not ready to receive information in that way. My thing is, so I know Aaron and I share a perspective on this, but I'm asking you, why do you have an empathy or a feeling about how those types of people will receive information if you yourself know it's the right message?
Yeah, why do you care so much? Forget these people.
Because I'm a woman. What do you mean? Like, I'm a woman. We're wired differently. Our brains are wired differently. You know this, Aaron. Just because
there's a person around the corner from you smoking crack, go get that person and let them live with you and help them stop smoking crack. Are you going to do that?
No, of course not.
Why not? Because they have to want to do it for themselves first before you actually assist them. Correct.
But then I just say that we got to stop being triggered. I said what I said to both of us. Like, but there is a way that can be like, okay, I talk to people, so I have a way to know how to gauge. You know, if I gotta give a person a whole bag of rice, right? Mm-hmm. I know that they gotta eat the whole bag of rice, but some people I gotta do one at a time, and then some I gotta do maybe a cup, and then some I can give maybe a 4th cup. Everybody can't take the whole bag at one time. Like, that's just what it is. It is not good or bad. It's just what it is. And I feel like Aaron's job in this world, he's not supposed to be the one that coddle you through.
Right.
But not all of us is built for a Aaron.
And we got to leave them behind. And that's all we're saying. Let's all leave these goofy people behind and let them
right there. Goofy. Right. See, like, there you go.
Jay. Calm down.
Like, you're calling right. Why they got
Jade, calm down.
Go ahead.
Shout out to Crystal, also in the group. She says, F these damn people. This isn't a principle, but this is what we say. When somebody starts acting crazy, we have to leave them behind. And the mindset is F these damn people. You know what I'm saying? You can't, everybody can't get on the train. Everybody can't get on the plane with you. Everybody can't fit in the car. You know, when it's time to go, if they don't want to go, leave their asses behind. Like, we got to stop sitting here being everybody's mommy and daddy. Forget
Didn't
these
I
damn
just? But
people.
didn't I just
No,
say that's
hold
not your
on,
flow?
Jay. I get you. What's your name, brother? He's on the delay. Emerson. Okay.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
what
Emerson.
yeah. What was you about to say?
I was about to say, like, so the exchange that Aaron and I just had, right, where he was saying, like, all right, cool, we disagreeing, right? Cool. Aaron could have literally said, like, hey, I don't care about the nuance, right, that we're arguing right now. So I just want to move the conversation forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have been like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have felt a way about how he decided to move the conversation along.
You're a guy.
I would have just understood he was moving the conversation along, right?
You're guys.
Because
hold on,
at
Jay,
the end of the day, we were having a conversation. At the end of the day, we were having a conversation about a nuanced disagreement. We both understand that we disagreed about something, and it's fine. I wouldn't feel a way about it. Earlier, when you first said that Aaron has poor delivery and he ruffles feathers, I was kind of like, wait, Aaron? You was like, yeah.
I didn't say he had poor
very well, calm,
delivery.
clear.
She didn't say it was poor. She said it was the delivery that was triggering people.
I never said it was.
It was just triggering. That's all. And I'm okay with that.
I know you are.
Yeah.
And to your point, guys.
Yeah, I wasn't quoting you. I was just saying.
He's on a delay, so we.
Okay.
Okay.
I was one thing I can say, I worked at a daycare because I was the one that really was with my kids. I chose my kids over a career for a long time. Mm-hmm. So working with kids and loving kids, I saw different dynamics of how even little girls deal with issues than little boys. You know what I mean? Little boys, they might argue, they might even knock the crap out of each other, hurt each other something bad, but then they straight afterwards because it's not that deep for them.
Right.
It's just not. Right? I grew up around guys. It's not that deep. So I do have that understanding. But for women, we can't just get into it, knock each other out, and we cool. No. It's going on all these different levels, all this emotional stuff that we put in on there. So the way guys handle conflict is just different. Period. Right. Even when y'all are kids. So we're not even talking about, the fact that women, we're just wired differently. We're wired first. It took me some time to even get to a point where I have an emotional center, where I can't process information the way that I do. I had to override my own system.
Well, the thing about it is the word system is the issue that we're talking about. It's important for women to trade their system for a man that they trust system, because her system is not necessarily conducive to her growth. Her system is you know what I'm saying? So just like any woman to say women are more emotional, women are all this and that. So why the hell do y'all think y'all can go out and do all this on your own?
Because that's all we've been taught. That's all we have.
I know. That's what I'm saying. We have to trade your system for another system, because thus far it's not working. And this is the only thing that I say in 30 different ways on social media. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't know what the hell y'all are doing. Find a man to help lead y'all and to vet the men that y'all are dating, so y'all can get what you actually want, which is a loving husband. But you can't get a loving husband on your own because you are a woman and you don't have the wherewithal to accomplish that, because, like I've said before, men have spent their whole lives around women. Women spent their whole lives around women. Do you see the problem? We understand women more than women understand men, because we've been spending all our lives around women, whether it's our moms or sisters, whatever. Y'all ain't been around no damn man until y'all at the age of 25.
True.
You have not seen a good, upstanding man at the age of 25. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
That's all I'm saying. Go ahead, Emerson.
Yeah, so Jay, you brought up a good point about, I think you said eagles, but Aaron interjected and said all animals. But as far as selection and the mating process and what's important for males to demonstrate to the females to be able to procreate and pass their genes on to the next generation, there's a lot of selection that women use as guidelines that are not necessarily the best selection traits to look for, right?
Right.
And that's why Aaron was saying to the lady before you, you need a man that you trust, right? It could be your dad, your uncle. If you have none of that, right, you can come to someone like myself, and that'll be a service that's available to you. But a lot of times, ladies that didn't grow up with a man or men that they can trust, they just have poor selectors, whereas it's pretty much cut and dry for animals. Are you strong? Can you bring food? Can you take care of me and make sure my children?
So let me say this. Animals have enough sense versus women to vet a strong male. And the reason why is because women are spoiled and they're protected by men, and they get to the point where they act like they ain't protected by men. You know, you call the police or whatever, but animals aren't, right? Animals can't call the police. So a female lion, if she lets a weak lion mate with her, these young lions are going to grow up. You know, lions grow up fast. A 4-month-old lion is the size of a dog. Put it like that. A 4-month-old lion is the size of a dog. Okay, 4 months old. So she has to hunt with her children. Okay, the children have to hunt with her. Right. So the children can't be stupid, and they can't be weak, and they can't be lazy. I watch lion documentaries all the time, and sometimes there are lazy lions that just don't want to hunt, and they just be laying around in the grass and shit, and they don't do nothing. It's a real thing. So sometimes a female lion would actually have babies with a weak lion, and the offspring is not helping her hunt. And she is out here trying to hunt by herself while the other lions are still just laying around on rocks and laying in grass, just chilling and waiting for mom to come back. So this is a biological thing that has hurt women, because women are focusing more on the nurture, which is don't trust no man. You know, your goofy mama is saying all this dumb stuff while you growing up. Don't trust no man, don't listen to no man, instead of the nature, which is, okay, I need to find a strong man, a smart man, a man that knows how to protect me, a man that has a certain amount of financial prowess about himself. I need to find him to have babies with, and I need to require marriage. Since you don't have that, and animals have that, because animals only are operating off of nature, they are able to vet males better than human women, which is nuts. Go ahead. Human black women.
Okay.
Because Indian men vet, they vet boys and stuff like that, and they, you know, have arranged marriages and stuff. Go ahead.
Okay, so again, speaking from my experience, growing up on the west side of Chicago, okay, we already established we ain't got no daddies, okay?
Yeah.
So now we out here in the streets in real life, going to school with the guys, going to school with y'all, you know, the men on the corner, and let's not forget the molesters and the
whoa. Can you don't say that?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The R and the M's, right? So we grew up not just in a toxic dysfunctional household with men, we go outside and it's not safe.
Right.
To be around men, really. Unless you kind of get cool with them, or you got some cousins, or if you protect it. Most the ones in my family dynamic were not very protective of me. So
right.
There is no, I don't see it in the community. I don't see it in families. My girlfriend, she got emmed. My friend over here got art.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
The men in the family doing it to us. Like, so all we got is to become men.
Well, think about this. Think about this.
I'm just saying, did you just hear what I said?
Think about, listen. Royce specifically said something about that. It's important to travel with your kids, to show your kids that there's other people, other worlds, other nations all over this planet that aren't like the Pookies and Ray Rays in your neighborhood. So when you have your friends that have been R'd and M'd or whatever, well, there are other friends that have never been that.
But
hold on. So
okay.
It's important to get married, require marriage before you make your own life worse. Because if your life isn't trash, you will have the ability financially, or, the freedom, whatever, to actually go to different places with your kids, take your kids to Florida or whatever, so your kids can have a better understanding of the world. Because a lot of times we just in our little neighborhoods, we think that's all that is available, and you only can if these are only men available, you might as well get with Pookie at the store or whatever, because these are only people available. But if your parent or parents actually took you outside of the state, like my mom did, I'm from Philly. My mom we went to Virginia, we went to Raleigh, North Carolina, and Prospect, Virginia, Raleigh, North Carolina, Syracuse, New York, and then Atlanta. So I was able to see different areas, see different environments as a child before we even made it to Atlanta. So when I got to Atlanta, I was not well versed, but I was able to have an understanding that is a bigger world than just this trashy neighborhood we lived in. Because we lived in another neighborhood when I was 6. We lived in another neighborhood when I was 4. So I was able to see so many different things. You know what I'm saying? So that is the answer to your question.
I didn't ask the question. You just offered, your wonderful, amazing mind to me.
Well, this is what a conversation is, Jade.
I listen to you.
Okay.
Okay. So let me say what all I'm saying is I really, really agree. Mm-hmm. I really do. I'm just saying, for those of us as the women that, that I speak for the ones that know better now, right? And I'm really wanting us to do better and really get together and say, hey, these men are trying to help us, and let's not be defensive. But I'm just up here trying to give a different perspective as to why we seem goofy, as to why we go into these, because at the end, and not to say that it matters, because ultimately it is a solution. And I had to get myself out, right? But what I'm really trying to hit on is you don't know what you don't know. And ultimately, when you're young, you can't just get up and go out and travel. You're stuck in what you're stuck in until you're able to get yourself out. And it's the reason why they tie the elephants up at a young age. It's a psychological thing. It's the reason why they do that, because they don't have to work hard when they're older to make them stay. They just mentally stuck. So until we get to a certain place, I just want you to understand, as a woman, I walked in this avatar. So you can't understand because you're a man. You're not going to understand. And I get to have that. As a woman, we weren't safe nowhere. So
because you didn't have a daddy, correct?
We didn't have a daddy, and we was brought up in these communities. We was brought up under the crack epidemic. We was just given a raw deal. Okay. And so coming out of that, and I'm not all the way, because I just found your channel. I'm really learning who you are and what you stand for. Because I was in my own world and in my own box, and I put myself there so that I could be this person.
Yeah.
I had to get out of social media. I had to get away from I had to go into a weird hermit mode that most women can't do. I was blessed enough with enough mental strength to say, you know what, in order for me to get out, I got to get out of this matrix completely. I got to get and figure out like what in the world is going on, because everything around me was just dysfunctional, chaotic, and that's all I ever saw. It wasn't until I really did this work and my life started to change. It's hard to just speak different, think different, attract different with the same fearful programming. It's hard to do it, especially by the time, if any of us make it out the hood, it's going to college if they do that.
But Jay, it's okay, but I just don't want to get too far out of the external locus of control, which is the world, scary, and we have to focus on what we can actually do to become better people.
But that's what I said.
No, Jay, just wait. And this is something that you have actually done, because you've joined the coaching group, and like a lot of women in these comments, all they want to do is talk about, oh, I didn't have this, the world was that, okay, yeah, whatever. What are you doing now? And something that you are doing now is asking for guidance and help. And I appreciate you for doing that. So that is the answer to virtually everything you were saying. You are your own answer by reaching out for assistance and guidance and help and support. So yeah,
but
shout out to you.
But all I was really trying to give is the context to the goofiness, to the silliness.
No, Jay,
that's all I was doing,
Joe, no, we do too much of that. I don't care why, because it doesn't matter. The point about it is, what are we going to do about it?
But that doesn't validate.
Jay, I get what you're saying, but you gotta understand, just sitting around talking about why things are the way they are isn't helpful. But your words were doing that. It's okay. It's okay.
No, it wasn't. I was
just Jade, breathe. Look, I'm about to go get something to eat. Okay.
You should.
Right. So just breathe. All right. And everybody,
I hope you breathe too.
Okay. I'm going to breathe too.
We're going to breathe together.
Right. So everybody listening, if you want to be like Jade and be like Bree, who's still in the comments, dropping fire emojis, if you want to join our community, which is women only, the link is under this video. Just look for access my services and join my coaching group. Fellas, if you want to simply book a one-on-one with me, it's in the same place. Under this video, it says access my services. Access my services mean all of my stuff is in one place. So you don't have to be fishing around or whatever. So click that link and you'll be able to see everything you need to say. I mean, you need from me and, to my ability. Crystal says is going to be the grapes. Yes, I got the grapes in arm's length. I'm about to eat me some grapes. Y'all holding me from my grapes, damn it. So yes, but I always want to, one, offer solutions and be available to you guys and, just facilitate whatever it is that I can help, and support in your life. Because at the end of the day, I am not just here to be yelling at y'all or whatever with no solutions. No, I'm going to yell at y'all and give y'all some solutions. All right. So, Jay, thank you for joining. But I'm going to eat some grapes. And
eat your grapes.
Y'all have a good rest of y'all night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.